Hello. How's it going, peeps? All right. Well, so here we are. We're in the second half of painting the Death's Head Buzzard. And yeah, I changed a little bit of things, a couple of things. Hey, Anita, good to see you. You're the first person in here. Right on top of it, huh? Really glad to have your guys' support. Thank you so much for being here. So yeah, on the second half of the Death's Head Buzzard, so Anita, I happen to have taken Dad's advice. I made as you can see, I made the camera just a little bit smaller, and yeah, I figured he would be watching. So I made the camera box, the face camera box, smaller, and I made sure to make sure it's more focused because I remember last time it was like cutting off the top of my head and showing all sorts of chest area. So I kind of tried to like make it a little bit smaller and also have it a little more focused. I did actually figure out that there is a option to zoom in on this camera. So that's what I did. Is it's actually at for the little face camera, it's at maximum zoom right now. So it's the furthest in it can possibly zoom. So that's how I have it set up. I'm pretty sure that I could probably zoom in with this camera as well, but I haven't really toyed with it, and I felt like that I don't really need to right now. But I'll probably mess around with it later. Daddy, no, good to see you, Mez. But Anita is not my sister. Anita is my stepmother. But I do have a sister. People, my dad and Anita keep telling me that I need to start telling my sister that I'm doing these streams so that she can join us. But I haven't told her about it. I don't know why. I haven't really had a chance to talk with her recently. It's been some time. But I might try and contact her eventually pretty soon, I want to say. And you know what? Next time I contact her, I'll tell her about doing all these streams and stuff like that, and see if she'll come in and join us or something like that. And here's the thing too is my sister actually used to be a streamer too. She doesn't really do it much anymore. She was actually streaming a whole bunch on Twitch back in the early days of Twitch. So like back in I want to say like 2013 and 2014, my sister was doing streaming on Twitch. She was doing Elder Scrolls Online streaming, and she was pretty good at it and having a good time, but she gave up on it. I'm not 100% sure why, but I guess she just kind of figured that it wasn't really something that she wanted to keep up with, and she kind of lost interest in Elder Scrolls Online, so she doesn't really do that anymore. But I think I remember having a conversation with her, telling her she should look into doing more streams, because I think like I used to come in and hang out in her streams, and she used to have a few followers that liked her as well, and I think that she could have grown more popular if she just kept up with it. And she should just play a whole bunch of different games. Like that's the thing is too is my sister is the hardcore gamer in our family, so she loves video games much more than I do. So she plays a lot of different video games, and she's really into it. And Anita, who's in the chat, is also a very hardcore gamer as well. She was really into Elder Scrolls Online when it was in its prime as well. Hey, Jabin! Good to see you, dude! Oh, man, it's always... Dude, it makes me so happy when I see you in here. I love having you in here, man. It's so cool. I'm glad you like the new camera angles, dude. I worked very hard on them, no joke. Getting this whole crane thing here took me, like, almost an entire day to get it set up, along with the face cam as well. So, I'm really proud of it. It took a lot of work, and I'm glad you like it, and I'm glad a lot of people are enjoying it for what it is now. But dude, I'm so glad to see you in here. I get so happy whenever you join me in these chat rooms, because, like, I don't know, man. It's just cool to see you in here, coming in, hanging out, supporting, and all that stuff. So, glad to have you in here, Jabin. I miss you, dude. I miss you, dude. No homo, but I miss you, bro. have my cup of coffee here. All right, let's get into some painting. I've kind of schmoozed quite a bit here. So let's jump into some painting here. Hopefully, the lighting will be okay. I'm going to try my best to not use the lamp too much. Simply because it's in an earlier part of the day. I don't think it's going to get too much darker in here for as long as I'm streaming. And so hopefully I can see the card pretty well from my point of view, and I know it looks great on camera. So I'm just going to try and not use the light and to prevent glare. Yeah, you figured it out, Jamin. Oh, you know me too well. Shh. You gotta keep it secret. It's okay, man. Like, I'm a straight guy. You're a straight guy. Like, clearly, it's perfectly straight. I just want to let you know, I tell people that story all the time, and they think it's so funny. I love it. I miss you, man. I miss you. Alright, let's get some paint on this palette. Let me get this out of the way so I can show you guys what I'm doing. Okay, maybe I should zoom out a little bit so you guys can see the paint palette. Okay, there we go. So we were working with a lot of blues, and some of the blues didn't come out the way that I wanted. So just two straight guys having sex. What's wrong with that, man? It's whatever. Like, he's straight, I'm straight, we're both straight, we have sex, it's perfectly straight sex, it's fine. I'm sorry, guys. We're messing around with inside jokes from our past. When me and Javen used to be in high school together, we had a lot of really ridiculous inside jokes together. Oh man. All right, so I'm getting some blue here, and let's see. I think I definitely need some black. Get a little dab of black, because we never really need too much black. It's generally like, I always feel bad when I use too much black and then it's like none of it gets used by the end of the session. So I try to like use as little of it as possible. I need to also clean my paint caps. Look how dirty they're getting. See that? Getting all crusty on the top. I used to, you know, it's really funny, when I first started painting, I used to be so meticulous about taking care of like all my paints. Like, no joke, after every single paint session I would take my paint tubes and I would like scrape off all the dry paint and everything, and let's see, what colors am I gonna need? I think I'm just gonna, oh that's right, I need the Phthalo green as well. I used to be really meticulous about scraping off all the dry paint on my paint caps and on my tubes and off of my paint brushes and stuff. And, like, it was really funny because, like, I got to a point of where there was actually a period of time where I was painting every single day I had off. Like, before I started doing the streams and stuff, I was, like, when my schedule was actually not crazy like it is now, I used to have, like, 4 days off in a week, which was awesome. I loved it. And I'm trying to get back to that point right now, but it's very hectic right now. As you guys all know, I gotta go back to work. Good to see everything is moving. Yeah, man, thanks, Javen. And you know what? Thank you for your support, man. I did set up an Instagram account. I'm going to try and get more on top of it, but I really appreciate all of the support you've been giving me, all of the encouragement, and all of your really good advice and suggestions to help me move forward with all this stuff. So I really appreciate you, man. Like, we've been friends for, like, forever, and I'm glad to still have you in my life, and I'm glad you're taking an interest in what I'm doing. So thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with us for a little bit. Hope to see you again real soon. You take it easy. Have a great day at work, man. Take it easy, man. Okay, so anyways, I forgot what I was saying. I was working on something and Jabin distracted me, that jerk. Let me take some more coffee. Okay. Oh, I remember what I was saying. So yeah, as you guys all know, I'm currently going through a really crazy transition. For anybody who knows that I hang out in a lot of the, like, I hang out with Cinder and Mike Hatcher in their streams, but some of you guys who are fans of them and have been going into those streams lately have probably noticed that I have not been able to join in on the streams as much as I used to. That's just a temporary thing. Like, I'm not, leaving Cinder or my catcher. Um, I'm still very big fans of their content. I love being a part of their community, and I love hanging out with them when I can. But the thing is that what's been happening lately is my work hours have been getting ridiculous. I've been picking up extra shifts, which violates the original part-time schedule I had. But I'm transitioning over to a new job as we speak, and so my hours will probably get better soon. The reason why I haven't been able to participate in a lot of the streams is because I've been working longer hours and extra days. I don't get home until around like 9 p.m., which really sucks. And that's just because I've been having to take on more responsibilities in order to how, best way to explain it is I've been taking on more responsibilities and more hours to help my current job transition me out. They're kind of in a situation where um, I'm trying to explain it like as best as I can while still holding a professional sense about it. They're what's the word? They really, really need me there, and they're about to lose me, and they're trying to. And I mean, I'm giving them the ability to do so. I offered to give them as much as my help as I possibly can before I am completely gone from my current job um, and moving into the new job. And so they really are in a situation where they need as much from me as they possibly can get before I'm gone for good. And so I'm basically trying everything I can to make that as smooth and as easy on them as possible. Uh, let's see, I'm going to kind of get this darker bluish green color going on here. And because of being that way and doing my work schedule in that fashion, it requires me to spend more days and more hours in my current job before I get out of it. And it's very, very stressful and tiring, physically and mentally tiring. And so basically what happens is I get home at about 9 p.m. and a lot of the time, I mean, Cinder is usually still streaming, but a lot of the time my catcher streams are over by the time that I get home, which really sucks because I really like being a part of those streams, and it's obvious based on when I've jumped in a couple of times and I've talked with Mike a couple of times outside of streams. You guys miss me, and I get that, and that's really cool. I'm glad that it's nice to feel appreciated in a community that is not necessarily directly connected to my channel, which is awesome. But I do miss hanging out with you guys, and I'm sorry that I've had to miss so many of the streams and fun interactions with you guys. But this is only a temporary situation. Like, as soon as I am able to have my new job all situated and I can transition out of my current job comfortably, I will be back in the the normal streams that I've been going into for quite some time now, and you guys will notice me coming back a lot more. I was in this morning's stream because I had today off, and today was kind of like, except for the fact that obviously I was planning to be here to do this streaming and all that. Today's basically like my day of relaxation. Like, and obviously, like I said, like I've been doing things that are still important. Like I still, like for example, before all this streaming stuff today, I went out and I had to pay a whole bunch of bills. I paid my rents. I paid my electric bills. I had to go to the bank and drop off some checks, and had to go and pick up some groceries. So I mean, obviously, like when I say like today's my day off, I'm still doing things. Like it's just like I'm just trying to get everything set up for the channel, set up for the streams, make sure my home life is taken care of, pay off all my bills, all that stuff. And so like I said, like today's my relaxing day, but I'm still doing things. And that's why I was able to. I actually hung out in Mike's stream this morning, which was quite a bit of fun. He was doing some arena streaming, and that was like the first time that I've been able to really interact with you guys in quite some time over there. So I mean, I'm hoping that I'll be able to do that a lot more very soon once I settle into the new job and all that. Hmm. Coffee is very good. So yeah, but every other than that, like other than the having to deal with that stuff, things have been going great. I'm actually doing very well in getting everything set up the way that I want to. And I do actually, like I said, I do expect to be able to spend much more time focusing on building my channel and my streams, which, I feel like is pretty obvious considering the amount of progress I've made already. So I see that things are going very well, and I'm not worried about it. It's just very stressful and tiring physically and mentally currently. So, but yeah, like things are fine. Like I feel awesome, and I'm not even worried about this transition in my job or anything. Like I mean, it was actually funny because I had a lot of people like, oh my god, like you're leaving. Like, what are you gonna do? Where are you gonna go? And it's like, well, don't worry about that because I have that completely under control. That is the least of my worries. Because it's really funny, like, I don't really understand, like, some of the mentality around this, like, I tell people that I'm leaving a job currently, and the first thing they do is they worry about like me financially and things like that, and like make sure that I'm like like everything's gonna be okay. And I'm like, did you really think that? I mean, I have done stuff like that where I'll just quit, like not quit, but yeah, they can be nosy, Anita. I definitely know that. I've actually had to kind of keep certain things under wraps at my workplace because of how shifty some of the people can be sometimes. Um, but there were like it's actually funny because I have left jobs where like I don't have a plan. I'm just leaving this job because I'm unhappy. But the good news is that whenever I do that, it's always worked out. I've never had a situation where I've left a job and I've been actually. There was one time where I had a scare where I was worried financially, but it worked out because I just stayed on top of it and like I constantly strived to make sure that it was going to work out. So even though there was a short amount of time where I was kind of scared financially because of me leaving at one particular. This was a long time ago. This was some long time ago. But other than that one particular situation, I have always generally planned out like another job or another path to go on whenever I've begun to get ready to leave a particular job. So it just cracks me up because there are these people who are like, oh my god, like aren't you worried about where you're gonna work next? And it's like, no, because I've already very clearly thought of that. Like I don't know how you operate, but I've already got that under control, and it just cracks me up. So, but yeah, but everything's fine. Like I've actually, I don't feel worried at all about this major transition I'm going through right now, which is a great feeling because, like, it's not fun to be scared of like what direction you're about to go when you're making a big transition, like if you're leaving a job or something like that. So it's just very nice to know that I don't have to worry about that because I've already gotten it completely under control. But yeah, you know what? Let me switch the topic from talking word salad. Yes, Alan Shore, word salad. Oh man, yeah, it's I definitely had to. I know what you're talking about because like I've definitely had to like kind of keep the wraps on some of the stuff I'm doing outside of my workplace. To my work coworkers, especially for the ones that are like really nosy and curious about what I'm doing. Because Like, I'm actually in this period where, um, like, things are working out really well for me right now. And I'm really happy about that, and it's because I'm working really hard to make sure that everything goes smooth the way I want it. But when I start like telling people about like especially like at my current workplace about like my level of success currently and how everything is moving smoothly and all this stuff, and they get really antsy, I guess you could say, about what direction I'm heading and where I'm going with my life and things like that. And it's just like I just kind of have to get to a point of where I say, like, what, don't worry about it. just don't worry about it. Like, you do you. Like, you're clearly okay with doing your own thing here in this place. And I'm elsewhere doing other things and moving forward with my life. So just, you do you and don't worry about it. Uh, so I'm kind of looking at this blue, and it's just a little too dark. It's funny because I've been kind of struggling with this blue coloration up here. Here, let me kind of get the focus to be a little better so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it looks alright. I wish it wasn't so dark. So I think I'm going to have to kind of... Let's see if I can kind of get this to focus a little bit. There we go. Oh, nope, just for a second. I'm still kind of trying to learn how to manage the focus on this camera. It's definitely sometimes giving me some issues, so I'll have to find... Oh, okay. It looks like we're good right there. Okay. So it's just a little too dark, and I kind of want to... I have to find a way to take the color and mute it. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to like change the color that I'm using, the darker color I'm using. Oops, knock over that paint. And so let me see if I can kind of get this color to be a little different here. So I'm going to take this one. This is the one I'm using right here. I'm just going to kind of lay it down over here. And I'm going to add some white to the color because I think that'll lighten it up. But after I lighten it up, it'll also kind of like drain some of the darker, brighter color, like the what's the term I'm looking for? Like the sharpness of the color, because like the color is really sharp and it needs to be muted. So if I add some white into it. Just kind of, just a little bit. I don't know, that's actually quite a bit. Yeah, let's see what happens if I do it with this. So I can add this white coloration, and that'll obviously lighten the color, but it also mutes the, like it kind of drains some of the sharpness out of the color as well, which is kind of what I'm trying to accomplish with this. So, and then I'm going to take a little portion of it and throw it off to the side here, because I'm also going to add some black to that color. In case you guys can't see it, this is the one I'm about to work on right here. So I'm going to add some black, and that'll hopefully just kind of darken it a little bit more, but while simultaneously taking more of the sharpness of the color out. So, and I added a whole bunch of white the first time, so this time I'm only going to add just a little bit of black, not very much. Just a little bit. Okay. I think that might work. Just going to try and make sure that it's a decent glob of the paint here. It's almost like a grayish color. Here, let me kind of bring it up a little bit. It's kind of like a... it's kind of hard to see with the lighting, but it's kind of this grayish bluish color, kind of, sort of. So that's what I'm going to try and work with to see if I can get a toned down version of that dark blue. So let's go ahead and bring this guy right back down in here so we can see what's going on. I'm going to kind of flip around a little bit. There we go. That looks nice. Okay, so let's kind of start right here. That actually, I think that looks better. I'm kind of like looking at the paint on the card and then looking over at how it looks in the camera. Because it's nice to have those two different perspectives, because, you know, my eyes tell me one thing on the paint, and then my eyes tell me a different thing when I'm looking at it on the camera. So it's definitely a lot more gray here. So I might actually add some of that darker blue on top as another layer. Just to kind of, you know, keep... Because it's very, very gray. I think you guys can see pretty well that it's very, very gray. So we're going to kind of change that a little bit. So, kind of trying to figure out how to go about it. So that's what's actually really fun about painting, is because, like, I also feel like that it's, like, it challenges my brain. It's like problem solving, you know? Like, because you look at a color and it doesn't match exactly right, and you know you have all of the tools and information in front of your face to, like, know that you can solve it and, like, make it look closer to how it's supposed to be. And that kind of makes it a lot more fun for me, because, like, I like puzzles and things that make you think a bit more. So, like, painting kind of does that for me. It really challenges, like, my brain sometimes, and I really enjoy that feeling of having my brain challenged while I'm painting. It just feels more fulfilling. So I'm kind of trying to be light with this dark bluish color. And I can't... I'm just trying to figure out why it's not being exactly how I want it to be. I'm trying to figure out what's missing to it. Come on, camera. Help me. Help me! Help me, camera! Help me! Come on, camera. Give me an assist here. Come on. Come on. I didn't spend a whole day putting you together and getting you all set up just so you can be out of focus all the time. Come on. I need you. I'm just... There we go. Okay. I have noticed that sometimes I can throw my hand in front of the camera and that allows it to, like, kind of refocus. I don't know why it does that, but, you know. I'm just trying to figure out how to get this muted color, and I'm not really sure. I'm going to experiment with another color, and this might be pretty risky, but I want to try something. Because I'm not super sure on how I'm going to be able to get this to work, and I'm trying everything I can to get it as close as I can to what I want it to be, and I don't know. I don't exactly know how to go about it, so I just kind of have to keep experimenting with it until I feel like I get it right. No, I don't know. I don't know. Let's see here. I'm just staying focused on this one small section because if I can get it right in this one space, that'll allow me to move it out into other spaces. There we go. I'm thinking maybe this will look better. Hopefully. Yeah? Okay. So it looks better on the card, and it looks better in the camera as well. I'm just trying to get, like, a different, like, a comparison here to, like, really... I don't know. This is a tough one. These blues are really throwing me off. It kind of reminds me of my days when I was first starting in painting. And the color that gave me the hardest time every time I would try to paint, is blue. Blue always put up this ridiculous fight against me. All the time. And I had to, like, constantly, like, try and fight with it. And I feel like I'm getting that same level of, like, fight in this particular card. It's definitely, the blue is definitely really getting to me. It's trying very hard to mess with me, and I'm trying to do my best to make it work as best as I possibly can. I think that looks really good. Yeah. I know it looks a little weird because there's a tiny bit of glare right up here in the corner, but from my angle, it looks great. It looks really good. I think I'm going to stick with this. I think this is how I'm going to do it now. To look... Oh, I'm sorry. My phone's on silent. Okay, let me see. Let me see. What is Dad yelling at me about? The pip? I'm sorry I missed all your messages. My phone's on like silent because sometimes it interrupts the stream and it just sounds awkward. So okay. Dad likes the camera setup. That's good. Lighting looks good. Probably don't need a lamp unless it's nighttime. Yeah, I actually today I went on Amazon and looked at some lights to kind of improve the lighting so that way it'll look good on your guys' end and it'll look good on my end. So hopefully that'll be something that I can get done soon. I don't expect to actually look into purchasing that until like next month or something. So we'll have to see. Focus adjust. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think I can kind of mess with the focus and the zoom in the camera settings a little bit later. I figured out how to do the camera zoom and focus with this guy right before I started the stream. So messing around with this guy will probably have to take some time. I'll have to probably do it on when I'm offline or something. But I'm glad you like how it looks, Pop. I'm definitely trying to get that bluish gray color to look a little bit better. And I feel like that I finally got it to match right here, which is a big deal. So I'm just going to basically try to keep up that color combination on the other areas as well. And it was using the 3 different blues that I kind of set up here. So one of the blues is kind of a grayish color, which is, I decided that is the first important layer to have to set up. And, sorry, I keep, like, dipping down out of the face cam. It's just because I have to get my head kind of close to the painting so I can see what I'm doing. Let's see here. Maybe I'll have to readjust my face cam so that it'll be pointed lower, maybe? Because I spend a lot of my time having my face out of the cam. So we'll have to see. I'm not totally sure yet. I'm doing a lot of experimenting with it, so I'm just going to kind of add that in a little bit. Okay. And I'll add it in over here as well. That camera, I think that this particular level of the camera is a good focusing spot, because it seems to be pretty comfortable with focusing on the card in this particular area. Maybe what I'll do is I'll make a mark, like I'll set up like a little note or something that'll remind me that this particular spot for the camera is really good on autofocusing, so we'll have to see. Like I said, it's a lot of experimenting and learning, like with the whole camera setup and all that. I'm constantly learning new things, so which is to be expected, you know. Like, you know, it's everything I do is you know, on these streams is me constantly experimenting and trying to learn what's going to work better and for you guys and for me, and you know, just kind of striving forward constantly. Like, you know, I'm kind of in this place where I want to keep improving constantly, and I don't want to, you know, have to step backwards or anything like that. I want to constantly, like, have my quality become better and better each time I do a new stream. So that's kind of really important to me. Kind of made a small mess here, but that's okay. I'm just going to keep on adding this coloration, and then when I finish the coloration, I'll kind of clean up a little bit because I've made a couple of small messes that I want to clean up. Let me bring this a little over here so you guys can see the area that I'm working on, which is right here. And I will get out of this area very soon because I do know that I need to get to the bottom portion relatively soon. So, because otherwise, you know, I don't want to spend the entire, like, because this is a part 2, and normally I try to finish these cards in like 2 streams. So I want to definitely get this guy done and move forward, because I'm actually really looking forward to the next card I work on, because I have I think, I'm not 100% sure yet, but I think that the next card I work on is probably going to be Man Cave's commission that he wants me to do. I'm finally going to do it. So I think that's going to be the next stream I do. And it'll be so nice because I have everything set up to actually do commissions now. Like, I have a nice camera set up. I have the crane and all that so it can, you know, zoom in and out and such. And the best part is, too, is that I now have a... Oh, Man Cave, you're here! You must have joined in right when I brought up your card and all that. Yeah, Man Cave, I'm probably going to do your card next. That's probably going to be the next stream I do. And I have everything set up to actually do my commissions now. So I have, like, obviously my nice new camera and my whole new setup. But the other thing that's really important is I now have a professional P.O. box that you guys can send mail to me, and I can send mail out to you guys as well. So my P.O. box is in the description below. So if any of you guys are interested in sending me cards or fan mail or whatever, you can find the P.O. box to send me stuff like that down in the description below. And if I do commissions, which I will be doing a commission very soon, I will send out the commission through that P.O. box address. So, definitely looking forward to getting that going and getting that started. Just to give you guys all a reminder, I do have the card here. This is the next card that I'm planning to work on for. This will be the commission for Man Cave, and it's gonna look great. It's gonna look awesome. I'm really excited about it. I've been building myself up to get started on it, and I think I'm finally ready to do it. And I just want to jump right into it because I don't know, like, I do gotta say, Man Cave, like, you have really good taste in art, and I'm really glad that the piece that you picked is a Phil Foglio piece, because I love Phil Foglio. And so I'm very excited to work on that Phil Foglio piece, and it's going to be really fun, and we're going to have a great time. I'm really excited about it. And I also, I gotta say, Man Cave, I really appreciate your patience on it. I know it's been like almost a month and a half since you asked me to start working on that commission, and it's just been like I said, like, I wanted, the main thing was that I really wanted to make sure that I was up, like, that I had a like, I was really wanting to make sure that my overall quality of my channel and my stream was good enough to do something like a piece that I'm being paid to work on. So that's why I put it off for so long, is because I wanted to make sure that my setup was prepared for it. And now I feel totally prepared to work on it, so I'm very excited to actually jump into it and get it started for you, dude. I was wondering where I would send the card. That's why I was preferring you bought it. Yeah, it's all good. I totally understand, and I do appreciate that you were okay with me purchasing the card and also footing the expense for me purchasing the card, because at that time that was the easiest way to handle it. However, from now on, there is the option, like, I'm still going to leave the option that people can have me buy the card and foot the bill for the card that I buy to commission. But you also now officially have the option to send the card out to me to, like, work on. So that is now a way that it can be done in the future. So, but I like I said, I appreciate your patience for it, and I appreciate that you were okay with footing the bill for the card itself, because that just made everything easier to set up and such. So, this blue is looking so nice. It was funny because I was struggling so hard earlier. Like, you guys were obviously listening to me struggling and complaining about how this blue was going to work, and now it looks great. Let me just kind of refocus here. There we go. So yeah, this blue is looking so much nicer. And now all I have to do is get the lighter blue to kind of mist in and fade out the darker blue. So I'm going to kind of do it like this. There. God, that looks so nice. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it was easier that way. It really was. It was just that, like, I just know also that there are some people who would, like, because I was thinking about this not too long ago, is that there are some people who have, like, particular cards in their collection that they're sort of, like, attached to. And, like, because I've been offered this before, because this is kind of how I did, like, one of the very first, like, not one of the very first, I've done a few commissions, but I did a commission piece for Rebecca, and she actually sent me her own Dark Ritual to paint. And I know that it was, like, it was to make it so that I didn't have to buy it, but it was also part of her personal collection, and she even told me, like, hey, like, this is actually a special piece, in my collection. Like, this is, like, one of my favorite dark rituals that I have, and I would love it if you could alter it and, like, make it a full art expansion for me, because it's, a special piece for me. And I mean, there was a lot of other stuff too, where it was like, like she sent it out to me with a card that she actually wanted to give me, and so I was just really honored to be able to, like, work on that. And I do know that there are people who would, feel that way about it. Like, they're like, hey, like, this card's special to me, and I've had it for quite some time, and I would love if I could send it out to you and you could work on it for me. And and that was. That was a major compliment to me. Like, I was really honored to be able to work on that that dark ritual for her. And I spent a lot of time and a lot of hard work making it look as nice as I did, just so that she could enjoy it in the way that she wanted it. And so, like, yeah, like, that's part of it too, is that, like, I do know that, it is easier for some people to just simply have me buy the card, but there's some people who are like, hey, I want this card done because I have an attachment to it, and I want it to look nicer than it already is. So that's kind of why it's nice to have the PO box and all that stuff. Sorry, I keep pulling the painting out of the camera so I can see it and not thinking about what you guys are seeing. So, hey, Peacock, good to see you. I'm doing great, man. I'm just kind of working on this piece. I'm almost done with this top portion of it, which has taken me quite a bit of work to get it to look right. But it's looking so much nicer right now, like, much nicer than it did when I was first working on it on the first stream. So I'm just about done with this particular portion of it, and I'm probably going to get working on the lower portion in just a little while. So I was actually thinking about some interesting things. So I was thinking about every once in a while doing just like, because I still want to finish the booster that I've been trying to work on, because it's obviously not done yet, and I want to keep working on that. But I also had this idea the other day that I want to start going back into painting basic lands. I love painting basic lands. I really do. Um, and I like to. One of the things too is that like I love painting basic lands because it's the best way to explain it is that it's like refreshing. Like after a while of like painting a bunch of like normal cards, like the modern cards and the altered and the extended arts and stuff like that. Like there's something so refreshing about just painting a basic land just because I can. Like, not because anybody wants it, not even because I specifically want it, I just want to do it. I really love painting landscapes, and working on basic lands is where I get to do that the most, and I really love and enjoy doing it. So I was thinking about possibly, like, every, like, few streams after doing, like, a whole bunch of extended arts or full altars or whatever, I would just go back and do like a stream where I just kind of paint a basic land just because I feel like it. So I thought I'd bring that up and see what you guys think about that, like just kind of painting basic lands. And what I might also do is that, give me a second, I'm going to take a sip of coffee here. What I'm thinking I'm also going to do, by the way, I gotta say, look how well that blends now. It looks so much nicer. Here, hold on a second. There we go. Look how much nicer that looks. It took me a while to get those colors right, but they look so good now. I'm so happy with them. Let me kind of do one thing that's really bugging me. I kept noticing it, and I want to make sure it looks just right. It's this one spot that's really, really getting to me, because I keep noticing it in the camera, and it just looks weird. So I just wanted to make sure it looks right. There we go. That looks so much nicer. Okay, so I kind of just want to like paint basic lands every once in a while, just to kind of have a refresher on that. So I kind of thought I would bring that up and see if you guys would be interested in that, and possibly like just me every once in a while doing like a basic land just for the heck of it. And I thought maybe it would be kind of cool too that like when I do basic lands, like I can sell them too. Like if you guys really like how some of them come up. I would be more than happy to like put them on my art page, and you guys can look into purchasing them. And like I said, like if you guys remember what my prices are, I definitely I wanted to do like basically what it is it's $40 basic lands, $50 extended arts, $60 altered arts. And I thought it might be kind of cool to just kind of like have like a regular series of basic lands I do on stream, and I can sell those for like 40 bucks a piece to people. So that would be a cheaper option, and it might be kind of fun, and maybe somebody wants to like kind of fill out a few of their land slots with some fancy basic lands. So yeah. Your streams are really relaxing. Is this what people watch Bob Ross for? Possibly. I always find his stuff really relaxing too. He was a very amazing man. I think it has to do with the way that he would talk to people a lot of the time. He had a very relaxed demeanor, you know? And it was very nice because you could just kind of like flip on what he was, flip on his show, and you could watch what he was working on. And it was nice being able to like listen to him because he was so incredibly intelligent when it came to art. It's kind of like when you're watching like a food channel or something like that too. Like they're so incredibly good at what they're doing that you can just like listen to like what they're talking about when they're talking specifically about their art or their cooking or whatever. And you can listen and just hear that they know exactly what they're doing. And it's like relaxing listening to somebody who can calmly talk about what they're really good at. Like in a very like they're like, hey, like let me explain to you like how I'm doing this and why I'm doing this and like each little individual process and blah blah blah. And it's like kind of like when you know all the steps of something and it's being carefully explained and it's like very relaxing and easygoing, and it's like, oh, this guy is like knows exactly what he's doing and exactly what he's talking about. And it's just relaxing to listen to somebody who knows exactly what they're talking about. And I think that that's what made Bob Ross so good at what he did. Was he was very good at just kind of like explaining very. I should watch more Bob Ross. I've only seen a little bit of his stuff, but he's a very, like, rest in peace, but he was such an intelligent man, and he just had a way with painting that was just absolutely, like, and he knew how to communicate with people too, which was also really nice. He was very good at conversing with others. Great idea on the land. I basically cut it to a deck box of foils, and I'm sending a box of goblins to MTG Unpacked. Oh, cool! Okay. Very nice. Cut it down to a deck box of foils. Okay. I understand what you're saying. Very nice, man. It's actually really funny. I thought it was funny that yesterday Mike Hatcher was doing a live stream that was all about him sorting cards. And it was really funny because, not even joking, right before his live stream started, I actually decided to sort cards on my own. And you bringing up, like, the lands and stuff like that, what I did was I pulled out my, I gotta make some new colors here, so I'm going to bring my palette over while I talk about this. So, basically, I pulled out my power cube, and what I decided to do was to completely redo my land base. So I had a land base of mint condition, like, in other words, like, no joke, like, I unwrapped them and immediately sleeved them, so, like, they're literally mint condition. But they were mint condition, like, Khans of Tarkir basic lands, which were alright, because, like, no joke, like, I had those set aside specifically for putting in my cube, like, in a plastic wrapping, untouched, and I didn't want to, like, have them used for anything else except for the cube. But the thing is that, they're so boring. Like, the Khans of Tarkir basic lands are so boring, and there's only, like, I think, like, 2 or 3 individual art pieces for it. And, so I was getting really tired of it. And so I wanted to do something more exciting. So what I did last night was I took apart I took all of the basic lands out of my power cube, and I replaced them with mostly full art lands. Because I have actually a very large collection of full art basic lands from multiple different sets. The largest collection of full art basic lands I have are from Zendikar, the very first Zendikar block. Because I bought a couple of, like, back in the day when Zendikar was in Standard, me and my friends bought a whole bunch, like, we bought like 2 or 3 fat packs of Zendikar. And the Zendikar fat packs came with the full art basic lands wrapped up in their plastic wrap. And so basically, I've used them for tons of other things across the years, but I decided that I wanted them in my power cube. So I basically pulled out all of my full art basic lands that I could possibly find, and I also pulled out some of the full art basic lands I have in from, what's it called, Unstable. And I don't have very many of them. I want to say I had like 3 or 4 of each kind of basic full art land from Unstable. And I basically pulled out all of those really fancy full art lands, and I put them all in my power cube. And that actually took a few hours of work. Like, that pretty much, like, the entire time that Mike was streaming last night, I spent working on that. Like, I came into the chat and hung out a couple of times, said hi to people, because everybody misses me, I know. But I spent pretty much the most of that chat silent, simply because I was... this is still not the right color, I don't think. I'm going to experiment with it and see how it looks. I basically spent that whole stream putting in those full art basic lands into my power cube. And, which was, you know, I'm excited to see them done. And I didn't have all of the full... Yeah, this is still too dark. Okay, that's what I thought. I thought it was going to be too dark, and it is. I didn't have... Oh, that's interesting. That's almost the right color. Okay, I'm gonna kind of put this in here, and then I'm gonna change the color on the paint. I didn't have all of, like, enough of the full art basics to be able to completely deck out all, because I have, the way that my power cube is set up, I have 30 of every basic land, in my power cube. So, like, 30 swamps, 30 forests, 30 mountains, 30 plains, 30 islands, all that shenanigans. But I sadly didn't have 30 of all the full art basics. So there's also some other really interesting cards in there, like other interesting lands. Like, for example, I own one of every um, not basic. I own one of every one copy of every Ice Age snow-covered basic land. So, like, I have one Ice Age snow basic island, snow basic swamp, snow basic mountain, all of them. And so I thought it would be really cool to kind of have, like, all 5 of them in the Power Cube as basic lands. Just so that, like, somebody might find it fun to be like, when me and my best friend are playing Power Cube together, like, we can pull one of them out for one of the colors we're doing and just kind of throw it in there for the laughs. Because there isn't any, like, snow permanence or anything like that in by the way, I am changing my color again. Sorry, I know I keep trying to show you guys that and I forget sometimes. I just thought it'd be kind of cool to kind of have those in there, and I don't have any, like, snow cards in the cube because that's too restrictive. I have a rule about what kind of cards are allowed to be in the power cube, and cards that are extremely niche or restricting on how they function are not allowed in the cube. So, like, for example, cards that would demand you to do snow permanence are not allowed in the cube. But a snow basic land is still a basic land, so that's okay in my book. So I basically put, like, all of the basic snow lands from Ice Age, like one of each kind, into the power cube, and I thought that would be kind of fun. So, yeah, and I did some other stuff like that. Ooh, that is... It's just a little bit off, but it is closer to what it's supposed to be. So yeah, I just thought that would be kind of fun. And there were some others in there, like, for example, I also put in just, like, art of lands that I really like a lot. Like some basics that are really pretty, in my opinion, also made it into the power cube. So, like, for example, like, I put as many of my chippy swamps, my chippy plains, and my chippy islands into my power cube because for anybody who doesn't know this already, one of my favorite Magic artists of all time is Chippy, and I want to own more art pieces by him. Yeah, so I basically put all those in there, and they look great. They look great. I love the Chippy basic lands from Alara block. And Alara was one of my favorite blocks of all time, so it's very nostalgic to me. So yeah, I've been making a lot of changes to my power cube because, like, it's the only kind of Magic I play anymore. I don't play standard, I don't play modern, I don't play legacy, I don't play commander, I don't play two-headed giant, like, you name a format, I don't play it. Like, I kind of just play cube only. Like, that's the only way I play now. And so I've been basically spending all of my Magic money and all of my time with Magic focusing on perfecting my cube. And that's a lot of fun, actually. I have a goal right now where I'm trying to take basically, like, I basically am trying to foil out a lot of cards in my power cube, which can get a little bit expensive. But the cool thing is that a lot of the cards I'm trying to foil out are actually really cheap. Like, for example, the way that I wanted to start is I decided that I was going to look up all the cards that I knew I wanted foiled, and luckily almost all of them are really cheap because they're not popular cards, which is awesome. I think it's hilarious that the cards that I love, other people think suck. So fine, be that way. Like, I'm cool with that. If you guys think these cards suck, that's more power to me, because that means I get better cards for cheaper prices. I don't play Magic at all. Too expensive. Maybe Arena one day. Yeah, I know that feeling. Like, I know how you feel, Legendary. It's just that, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, what really made me stop playing most Magic formats, like I said, like, the only format I play is Cube, and, like, the only reason why I play Cube is because I get to do it the way that I want to do it. Like, for example, me and my best friend, who played Cube together, we have our own rules. Like, we make up rules, you know, like, and it's fun that way. Like, and the thing is that the rule, like, it's the classic idea of kitchen table Magic with, like, house rules. So the thing is, though, is that, like, the house rules aren't stupid. They're, like, the house rules do things to make the game feel more fun and more balanced. So, like, for example, like, we have, in my cube, we have a special rule about mulligans. So, one of the things that we do for my cube, for mulligans and things like that, is we have a rule where you draw your hand and you look at what cards you got, and then you pick a number of cards, and you take all the cards, like, you pick a number of cards you don't like, and then you take all the cards you don't like and you put them on the bottom of your deck, and then you draw cards equal to the number that you just threw away. So, like, and here's the thing. The rule about that is that you are allowed to do that until you basically can do that over and over again. But the thing is that the number that you pick has to be less each time. So, like, for example, if my first hand is I have 5 cards I don't like, then I can get rid of 5 and draw 5. And then if I draw 5 new cards, and then there are, like, 4 cards I don't like, I can get rid of 4 and draw 4. But I can't get rid of 5 and draw 5 again. So, like, basically the number gets smaller each time. And then it's like, if you get down to being able to draw 0 cards, and you feel like your hand is unplayable, then you shuffle your hand back into your deck, you reshuffle the deck, and then you draw a new hand, and then you're allowed to kind of sort of do it, but it's kind of like, be chill about it, don't do it a whole bunch of times until you have, like, an obscenely perfect hand. And that's the thing, too, is, like, me and my best friend, when we play Cube, we're there to have fun. So, like, we're not trying to, you know, bullshit each other and, like, have, like, obscenely powerful hands. We're just kind of, like, our overall mentality is that we want to have something playable. So, like, you can have something playable, but if your hand is playable, but it's not broken, don't throw away your hand, you know? Like, play with what you got. So that's kind of how we do things. And, it's, you know, it's generally pretty fun. Like, we have a great time. Like, I've made more memories in a short amount of time of some of the greatest Magic games I've ever played in my entire life, just from playing Cube with my best friend. Like, so many insane, memorable games. Like, I was actually recounting, like, some of the greatest games I ever played, like, with my best friends while playing Cube. Like, my best friend had a game where he, on, like, turn 2 or turn 3, played a Black Lotus, played a Dark Ritual, and then, like, mind twisted me for, like, 6 on, like, turn 2 or turn 3. It was such bogus BS, like, and it killed me. It killed me. But it was so cool. Like, it was so cool. And, like, that was, like, the kind of thing where I was like, this is totally fun. Like, even, like, the thing is that, like, with how my cube works, that is the kind of hand that happens once in a lifetime. Because the whole entire cube is singleton. So, like, it's nearly impossible to consistently get a hand where you can Black Lotus, Dark Ritual, Mind Twist, and win the game on turn 4. Like, that barely ever happens. So like it makes it way more fun. Like, and it's these crazy, insane games that happen between us that like you could never recreate, and they're just so fun because you never know what's going to happen. Like it's a great time every single time. And that's why I love Cube, because like I've never played a game of Magic that was able to actually replicate like that kind of gameplay. Like I have plenty of other gameplay forms like that. Like one of the best gameplays I ever did was a couple of weeks ago. Me and my best friend were playing my Power Cube, and I actually what was it? I managed to pull out a turn 3, like it was either turn 2 or turn 3 Nether Void off of a Black Lotus. Like, and he basically gave up the game on turn 5. He's like, I can't play on a turn 2, like, Nether Void? What are you, a psychopath? It was so good. But, like, you know, that kind of stuff barely ever happens, but when it does, you never forget it. It's like a momentous occasion that's fun for everybody. Like, I love stuff like that. Like, I also even talk about how, like, I played a game with my best friend where I had him down to 1 life. He had 1 health point. I'll never forget it. He had 1 health, and he top-decked a Platinum Angel, which basically says you can't lose the game and your opponent can't win the game. And, alright, Anita, thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with us. You take it easy, okay? Thank you so much. Bye. He top-decked a Platinum Angel when he was on his last life point, and I was going to kill him the next turn. And, he basically, like, after playing that Platinum Angel, I couldn't get rid of it. I didn't have an answer to it. And he managed to draw the game out for 5 turns and killed me. Like, it's bogus. Absolutely bogus. But yeah, so, one of the things is like, the reason why I was talking about, the Cube in the first place, because I got all distracted on talking about how it's like the best. Hey, Michael's Magic, good to see you, dude. Good to see you, man. Oh, I kind of fell behind on the chat. Let me see. Dark Magician Girl Bathwater. Dark Magician Girl Bathwater. That's kind of funny. Yeah, I never really was into Yu-Gi-Oh, but I think it's still like funny. Like, I mean, I played it when I was like for a little while when I was in middle school, but I never got into it. I was way too deep into Magic, and I like Magic better, so I couldn't really get into playing Yu-Gi-Oh. So, but I think that's pretty funny. Kitchen table, no tryhards. Yeah, kitchen table's where it's at, man. I mean, you know, like I said, like I always say that Cube is the ultimate form of Magic, but you know, it is a form of kitchen table. So it's like, you know, if you're because I mean the thing with cubes is that like you can build a cube to be like a degenerate meta if you want, but like that's not really fun. But like if you build a cube like how like my catcher builds a king cube, or like how I build my power cube, like it's tons of fun, man. It is so fun. Like you can have a great time. And like if you're playing it like how I do, like make up your own rules for like certain things. Like I said, like I told you about that homemade mulligan rule. Like you can make up your own rules to like make it so that the game is a more fun experience for everybody. Yeah, it's good to see you too, Michael. I'm painting a Death's Head Buzzard. I'm sorry. I'm kind of skipping around on the comments here. So I'm painting a Death's Head Buzzard, and, just kind of, trying to get the painting to be down closer to here. I really want to try and finish it up today, but I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to be able to do that, but I will do my best to do so. Konami is always memes. Yeah. I hear that they're not doing too good with their fan base right now. I don't really keep up with Konami, but I hear they've been struggling to keep their players happy and stuff like that. My friend pushed me to the point where I played EDH. I was a huge threat. Oh, like in other words, like I think I get what you're saying. Is it like your friend like played something degenerate, and so you had to build a degenerate deck to like beat him. I can understand how that happens because I actually did the same thing at one point. I used to play EDH a lot. I used to play EDH in the days when it was called Elder Dragon Highlander. To even prove the point, my original Elder Dragon Highlander deck was Palladia Mors, who is, by rules, a proper Elder Dragon Highlander. Based on the original rules of Elder Dragon Highlander, Palladia Mors was my Elder Dragon Highlander. She's also my dragon waifu. She's my sweet, sweet dragon queen. But yeah, I used to play Elder Dragon Highlander, and the original deck I had was, Palladia Mors. And, I used to have a lot of fun doing it, but eventually, like, I also built other Elder Dragon Highlander decks over time, and properly into Commander as well. And eventually I got to a point of where one of my friends had built a Commander deck that was so cruel. It was awful. Like, it was an absolute, like, terror to deal with. It was awful. It was, oh god, who's the... I think it was, like, Gave Guru of Spores, like the black, green, and white guy. And that dude is a monster. An absolute monster. And he used to play that deck all the time, and like me and my friends, we would play like these big like 3 to 4 player Commander games, and he would play decks where like we would just all have to concede to him because it was just like it would just get so bad and there was no way to stop him. So like, I'm sorry, I pulled the card away from the camera. I keep doing that. It just got to a point of where like I got so frustrated with having to fight his deck all the time that I eventually built a deck to just fight him with. Like whenever he would play Commander, and he would pull out his Gave deck, I built a Xur deck, and you guys all know who Xur is. I'm pretty sure. If you know Commander, you know Xur. I built a Xur deck just to kill him. That was the only reason I built it. I built it just so I could beat the pants off him, and it did. You don't mess with Xur. Like, Xur messed him up good. He, like, it got to a point of where, like, he'd be like, alright guys, let's play some EDH. I'm bringing out Gave, and I'd be like, alright, cool, dude. I'll bring out Xur. And he's like, but Xur's so good. I don't want to fight you with Xur. And I was like, that's cool. We don't want to fight you with Gave. So either build something else or fight the Xur and figure it out, you know? So... That's the whole thing that makes that kind of stuff good, though, is, like, when you have people who play, like, really degenerate decks and things like that, and, like, they're just like, hey, like, let's play a fun, casual game of Magic, and it's like, here's my degenerate deck that nobody likes fighting against. Oh, that's how you want to do it? Fine, I will bring out my degenerate deck, and you and me can fight 4 or 5 matches where I just beat the pants off you over and over and over again. How does that feel? Does that feel good? Are you having fun? Do you like losing on the first turn? Does that feel good? You don't like it. You don't say. You don't say. You mean to tell me that you don't like losing on the first turn? Well, maybe if you play something that the rest of us want to play with against you, maybe we'll all play something fun and we'll actually have a game that's actually fun. Does that sound cool? Does that sound fun to you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you just kind of have to adapt to that stuff. And then, like, you just beat them over the face until they finally understand that you're not going to put up with that bullshit. Let me see here. Wow, I fell behind. You guys are chatty. My friend, push me, yeah, okay. C19 looks like it has some spicy commanders. I'm interested in the legendary wall. There's a legendary wall? It determines which direction players can attack it. There's a legendary wall? That actually sounds really cool. If the wall is a legendary creature, I gotta give Wizards some credit on that. That sounds very creative and very cool. That's definitely something I have never seen or heard, but it sounds like it's probably really fun. Um, is it as good as Wall of Denial? The ultimate pain in the ass wall card. The wall that nobody likes to fight against. Oh man. Let's see here. Direction looking pretty cool. Okay. I played Marchesa board wipes and removal was pointless. I countered graveyard hate and exile effects. Cool. Very nice. Yeah, like I said, like I used to like Elder Dragon Highland or Commander, but I don't really enjoy it anymore because so it's actually a combination of things why I stopped liking Commander. So the first reason why I stopped liking Commander is meta. Commander meta is awful. Like it's so bad. Like it's just as bad, if not worse, than like modern meta or standard meta. Like that's one of the main reasons why I stopped. The other reason why I really disliked it is you can't, like when you're playing Commander, you have no ability to control what cards the opponent is playing. So like, and I know that kind of sounds weird because most people would be like, well, obviously, like that's how Magic is supposed to be. But the thing is like, so here's the thing that makes like my cube so fun. The reason why my cube is so fun is because I actually have control over what my opponent is playing before he plays it. So like, for example, like there's a lot of really powerful cards in the cube, but the thing is that everything in my cube is balanced. So like there's an answer to every single card. Every single card and every single combo in the cube has an answer. So like when you're playing command, like that means that if my opponent is playing with my cube and they're playing with like a degenerate powerful combo, I can be aware that the answers for that combo or whatever the powerful card is, there are answers in the cube and most likely in my deck that can handle getting rid of that powerhouse combo or whatever. But in Elder Dragon Highlander or Commander, you don't necessarily have that. You don't know what your opponent is playing, and you don't have like any control over that. Like you don't have the ability to flat out stop something because you know what cards they are capable of having and what cards you are capable of having. So like, and I know that sounds a little kind of lame, but the thing is that like I said, like the reason why the cube is so fun is because there's so much balance to it. There really is. And like because I can have broken stuff, but I know that my opponent can have an answer to it. And my opponent can have broken stuff, but I know that I can have an answer to it. And that's what makes it such a great format, is because there's only room for fun in the cube. There's no room for degeneracy. Like it's literally designed to shut down degeneracy, which is great. And the other thing too that really got tiring about Elder Dragon Highlander and Commander for me is that I got really tired of playing my own cards. Like, not only was I tired of other people playing degenerate stuff, I was getting tired of playing my own cards. And like, it got to a point of where like you know what my answer was to that for a while? Was the answer I had to getting tired of my own cards was I used to own 20 Commander decks. I had 20 of them. And like all of them had different themes, different commanders, different play styles. They all did different things. And it was that I constantly like had like every time I used to play Commander, like me and my friends would be like playing doing a Commander marathon against each other, and they would play the same decks over and over and over again. I would be like, okay, here's Palladiumors. Okay, here's Daravi. Okay, here's Zur. Okay, here's what is another one? Karthus. Like, you know, like I would change my commander, like my commander deck every game, because I wanted something different. I wanted to do something different every single game. But the thing is that like like, another part of that, too, is that even if you have, like, 20 different commander decks, you still know how to use everything and how everything is going to piece together and function together and what cards are going to grab you what advantage and things like that. And that gets really boring for me. Like, that's boring to me. And so even if I had, like, 20 commander decks, I would still get very bored of playing them. Like, I always knew what they were trying to do, and I always knew, like, what cards were going to win me the game and things like that. And I know that that's the case for, like, other people who play the game as well. But it's just that they're more comfortable in playing a deck where they can constantly have the pieces they need to win the game. But that doesn't spark entertainment for me, you know? Let me catch up a little bit. It was deceptive. I made it to seem benign, like its namesake is cancer. Starts off an unnoticeable, then when I get bad, it doesn't die. Oh, Marchesa, I see. Okay, I had to go backwards a little bit to understand the context. I played so many counterspells, which was weirdly taboo in EDH circles, like, no, I will stop your infinite combo. Don't. Yeah, I mean, counters are important, but also it's not really fun to, like, play against a deck that's focused on countering everything. But, I mean, I feel like you guys got a pretty good understanding. And you know what? You do you, man. You totally do you. It's all good. I'm not here to judge. If you want to be Mr. Counterboy, you can go ahead and be Mr. Counterboy. That's okay. There's a turn 1 win with Prime Speaker Xenophar in EDH where you self-mill Commandathon. Yeah, like I told you, I sold my Magic cards, got a Switch, and now have 300 plus hours with 2 games, and I was so bored with just an hour of Magic. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay, Peacock. I know that feeling. Like I said, like, that's why, like, one of the things I was trying to talk about with Cube is that, like, unlike EDH, it's constantly fresh. Like, I never know what colors I'm going to play. I never know what deck I'm going to build. And I have to, like... And the thing that makes it really fun, too, is that, like, in Cube, every card is good. There's no bad cards. So, what actually makes the game really fun is my Power Cube, playing in my Power Cube, it's about skill as a player, not the cards you play with. If you're playing in a format like my Power Cube, where every single card is powerful and really good, then the only thing that matters is not the power of the cards. What matters is your ability to play the cards and how you play them. And that's what makes it so fun, is because, like watching how people play their strategies with bonkers cards, like, really tests your ability. And also knowing, like, okay, this card's powerful, this card's powerful, this card's powerful, this card's powerful, but I have to eliminate 3 of these cards, and I don't know which ones. So you kind of have to, like, make judgments based on your abilities as a Magic player to figure out what powerful cards are going to work best for you and what cards are going to be worthless. It's like the coffee that never ends. Let's see. I love stopping those stupid combos with Force of Will. Yeah, I kind of wish I had a copy of Force of Will, but I don't. I do have Mental Misstep, which is practically a Force of Will. I think it's so funny that it's, like, banned and everything. Mental Misstep. I understand why, but at the same time, like, it sucks because Mental Misstep was a card, like, it's so needed. Like, it's such a, like, it's basically like Force of Will 2.0, but it's like they accidentally made it so that in one particular way it's more powerful than Force of Will, which was purely accidental. And, but it's too bad because, like, that's what I'm talking about, is, like, you can break Mental Misstep, but if you were to, like, not be degenerate, and you were using Mental Misstep for what its purpose was to be, you would notice that it was a greatly needed card. Like we needed Mental Misstep, and, you know, meta ruined it. And that's how it is. Like, that's just what it is. Like, you can't control how the meta functions, so... You can only try to go with the meta or fight the meta, you know? Let's see here. I'm going to build a Genju of the Realm EDH deck. Yeah, I remember Genju of the Realm. I don't remember him being that powerful. I kind of recall him being kind of weak. But that's what makes it fun. Like, you know, I like cards that are, like, not necessarily... Like, I like cards that are not broken, but, like, you can do things with them. And it's like, because they're not broken, people stay away from them. Like I said, like, I told you guys I'm kind of in the process of trying to foil out portions of my cube, and a lot of the cards that I was looking at that I really wanted to foil are really cheap, and it's simply because it's not that they're not powerful, it's just that they're not broken. So if they're not broken, people don't want them, which means their foils are really cheap. So, you know, that's how that is. And it's actually really funny. I definitely ordered some foils to go into the cube already. I have one that I'm really excited about. I was actually kind of trying to gauge the other day how what my favorite cards in each color are, which is very hard to do. Basically what I did was I basically decided to try and figure that out based on what's in my cube. And I found some interesting things. Like, I was kind of, like, doing it based on, like, what has been the most fun for me to play in the cube, and what do I have the best memories with. So, like, for example, one of the foils that I ordered that I'm really excited to get my hands on, and it's, I basically ordered it once I kind of realized that, first of all, the art on it is spectacular. It's, is it Rebecca Guay? I think it's a Rebecca Guay piece. And I ordered a foil of it, and it's Yavimaya Dryad from Time Spiral. And I basically figured out, like, after really kind of, like, thinking about it, I realized that Yavimaya Dryad from Time Spiral is probably, like, I had to, like, really think hard about it, but I basically figured out that Yavimaya Dryad is basically one of my favorite green creatures of all time, hands down. Like, it's very hard for me to feel like that there are any other cards, like green cards, that have made me feel the way of pure enjoyment and fun that I've had than I've had with Yavimaya Dryad. Like, I can't think of many other cards that have done that for me. And the thing is that makes, like, the reason why I had to really kind of weigh it out and figure it out and think about it. And the thing is Yavimaya Dryad, which, like I said, I decided is basically one of my favorite green cards of all time. Yavimaya Dryad does so many things in a single card. It does so much. So much. Like, so, like, Yavimaya Dryad, first of all, the art is beautiful. If you guys have never seen the art on Yavimaya Dryad, look it up. It's spectacular. It's absolutely beautiful, the original Yavimaya Dryad art. So, ignoring the beauty of the art, the card, first of all, Yavimaya Dryad is a land tutor. So, like, and it's not just a land tutor. If I remember correctly, it searches, I want to say it searches for forests, not basic forests. So, like, if I remember correctly, you can use a Yavimaya Dryad to find you, like, a taiga, or or an overgrown tomb, or a tropical island. So, right off the bat, that is crazy strong. Like, being able to use Yavimaya Dryad to tutor you a dual land is amazing. So that's, like, the first thing that makes it really good. Then after that, the next thing it does is that it, so it's obviously, like, it's not only tutoring you a land, it's able to tutor you a dual land. And then the other thing that makes Yavimaya Dryad absolutely spectacular is if you read the text on it, it says, when you may search your library for a forest card, and then it says you may take that forest and put it into play under target player's control. It doesn't say under your control. It says under target player's control. So, like, what makes that so powerful is that you'll also notice that Yavimaya Dryad has Forest Walk. So, you can tutor for, like let's say you don't need the mana acceleration, but you need an edge to kill your opponent, okay? So, like, you can tutor for a basic forest that you don't need, and then put it into play under your opponent's control, and then next turn, you can slap your opponent in the face, like, every turn for unblockable damage. 2 damage every turn, unblockable. Like, it's so good. It's like I personally feel like it's like one of the best green cards of all time ever printed. Like, it's definitely one of my favorites. So I went ahead and I purchased one in foil. And I'm so excited for it to get here, and I'm going to put it right into my cube. And the thing is, like I have a lot of memories. Like, I've had memory, like, of that card. Like, besides the fact that I loved it when I was younger, because I did actually crack it in a booster, obviously. And I've only had one. I've never owned more than one. Like, I opened a lot of boosters of Time Spiral. I only got one Yavimaya Dryad. Like, I opened up a box of tournament packs of Time Spiral with my friends. One Yavimaya Dryad in the whole collection. Like, and that's, so I've had that one for years, and I still love it. But I want to get a foil one. So that's basically what's happening, is I'm getting a foil Yavimaya Dryad in the mail. And I'm very excited to get it and put it into the cube. But the thing is that I've had experiences with the Yavimaya Dryad in the past. I've had experiences in the present, like it's been in multiple different commander decks. It was originally in my Palladia Moors EDH deck. And the thing is it's like, so it's served its purposes in Elder Dragon Highlander. It's served its purposes in other decks that I've played in the past when I used to play Time Spiral. And the thing is, too, is it's even been useful in the cube. Like, it's tutored lands when I've needed them in the cube. And it's also, I even had a game where I played my best friend and I killed him with the Dryad. Like, I put a forest into play under his control and I killed him with the Dryad by using the forest that I tutored for by putting it under his control. Like, it's a card where it's like, I've never had a game where I've drawn Yavimaya Dryad and I'm like, this card's useless. Like, there's never been a game I've ever had where the Yavimaya Dryad was useless. So, like I said, I basically decided that was my favorite green card of all time. And that's why I'm getting a foil of it. So let me catch up. Now that story's done, let me catch up on the comments a little bit. One day the play group complained that I put expensive cards in, so I got up, sold my Force of Will the next day. Why? Don't listen to your idiot friends, Peacock. They sound like idiots. I came back with a Joda deck with a $40 budget and remained undefeated. Well, okay, so Peacock, do you know what we call that? We call that player skill. See, here's the thing. And I remember, actually, I swear that I remember way in the past, Mike Hatcher talked about this one time, too. He said, you can have, like, a multiple $1,000 deck, right? But here's the thing. If you're a bad Magic player, it doesn't matter how much money you put in the game. If you're a bad Magic player, you're always going to be defeated by the guy who's a better Magic player. So, like, you can have, like, you know, a crazy powerful deck with all sorts of crazy powerful expensive cards. But I've seen people who are vastly superior Magic players, who are just better at playing the game. They're smarter, they're better at making hard choices, they know table politics, like, you know, and they can play a janky deck with no rares in it and still beat the pants off of somebody who has like $1,000 standard deck. You know, like, It's called being a better Magic player, Peacock. Like, that's what it is. And it sounds like your friends are just, like, butthurt about it. Like, they're trying to blame it on your expensive cards, but they don't realize that they're just playing against a Magic player who's better than they are. So funny. It's all good, Peacock. I totally know that feeling. Not saying I'm a better Magic player. I can definitely say I've had my teeth kicked in very frequently when playing Magic. So I definitely would not say I'm the best Magic player of all time. Um, but I mean I know some good strategies, but I do know I've definitely met my fair share of matches where like I would play people in Magic and I'd straight up be like, dude, you're the better Magic player. Like I can't beat you, man. Like you are very clearly better. Like we can have decks on equal footing, or you can even have a deck worse than mine. And like I can very clearly tell that you are a better Magic player than me. So like I've had, encounters like that. Like so I don't think that I'm a better Magic player. Like for example, I could tell you right now, I bet if me and Mike Hatcher were to play a proper game of Magic, he would probably beat the pants off me. Which I'm okay with. Like I said, like I'm a for fun Magic player. I like to have fun. I don't care about winning. And I can, like I said, I can acknowledge that there are people who are better at the game than I am. That's okay. Because I don't need to be the best at a game. Like, I'm too busy being successful in life. I don't need to be great at Magic. That's kind of how I look at it. Oh, man. Okay, let me catch up a bit more. I'm still painting away. I just keep getting into tangents. You guys have such good commentary that inspires me to talk about certain things. So I'm sorry if I'm a bit slow on the comments. Let's see here. My favorite green card is the enchantment that is 6 double green, and it says, whenever an opponent casts a spell, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature, you may cast without paying its mana cost. I know that card. That is Lurking Predators. And the reason why I know that card is because that card is in my cube. Very powerful card. A long time ago, when I was, this was years ago, this was back when I was in high school, I used to have a blue-green deck called the Freebie deck. And the Freebie deck ran 4 copies of Lurking Predators, and it ran 4 copies of Gin of Wishes. And the whole point was just... And it was filled to the brim with fatties. Like, tons and tons of fatties. And so the whole point of the deck was to get as many fat creatures out as possible. So, like, you would basically, like, cheat your... The goal was to cheat your Gin of Wishes and your Lurking Predators into play. And then everything else after cheating those into play would just come out for free. So, I used to play a standard deck like that a long, long time ago. And I don't have any of my Gin of Wishes. I gave all of them away. I used to have 2 foil Gin of Wishes and 2 regular ones. And all of them were given away, which is fine. And I still own all 4 copies of Lurking Predators, though. Hey, Richard! Good to see you, man! Thanks for joining! Thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with us, man. We're just talking about all sorts of different stuff. I'm painting, obviously, my Death's Head Buzzard, which I think you've probably seen before. And we're just kind of talking about, like, Commander and all sorts of stuff, you know. Just kind of talking about whatever comes to mind. But yeah, Lurking Predators was really fun. I used to play that card quite a bit back in the day. Like I said, I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but I definitely had some good memories with it. Favorite green card is Growing Rights of Ithlamok, just because Gaia's Cradle was always so far out of reach. Yeah, I could get that. I always thought it was really cool that Ixalan did those enchantment lands that basically replicated the old broken, Urza lands. And, well, they weren't just Urza lands. They did a whole bunch of cards that were, like, really, like, lands that were considered broken, and they basically tried to reprint them in a sense. So, and I thought that was really cool. Like, I do have to commend Wizards when they do something really interesting or really, really fun. And that was a great example of them trying to think outside the box and do something that the players really wanted, which was getting a chance to play with cards that were really broken back in the day. So that was cool. My $80 white-black zombie modern deck was one turn away from beating a $4,000 blue-black fairies deck. Goodness gracious. Yeah. I assume that you posted that when I was talking about the concept of player skill. And, like, that's, like I said, like, that's the kind of situation. Like, it doesn't matter, like, there is a point where you can spend as much money as you want on Magic, but if you're not good at playing, like, if you are less skilled than another player who is much more skilled at the game than you are, it doesn't matter how much money you put into it. And that's why it's like I always tell people, like, because people a lot of the time say, like, oh, like, Magic is a pay-to-win game. Like, you have to pay to win to be the best. And it's like, yeah, but the thing is I've seen people who are so good at the game that they don't need to play, like you said, like a $4,000 deck. They don't need to play a $4,000 deck to be great at the game. Like, they don't need to. If they're better at making choices than you are and knowing the proper, like, sacrificing the right creatures when they need to be sacrificed, making the right battle plays, timing out your counter spells properly, knowing how to draw out counters, knowing how to draw out removal and then play your real thing, like, that's all part of the game. And the whole thing is that, like it doesn't matter. Like, I read this really cool comment a while ago that I thought was genius. It made me so happy. I was reading a review about a card called, and it's a card that I love. It's a card that's actually in my cube, and a lot of people don't like it. It's called, oops, sorry, I banged the camera there. Hopefully it's okay. It's a card called Traumatic Visions, and so Traumatic Visions is a 5-mana counterspell. It's 5 mana, double blue, so 3 double blue, and it just simply says, counter target spell. And then after that, there's an addendum below it that says, basic land cycling, a blue and a single. So, like, you can basic land cycle it away to tutor up a land. And, I love that card, by the way, because the reason why I love it is because it's a land tutor in blue when you need it. And if you don't need the land tutor, then it's a late game counterspell. And so the point that I was making is that there was this comment that I read that was talking about Traumatic Visions. And the guy basically said that he was playing a game against another player where the guy he was playing played like a spell that would have won him the game. And he countered the spell with Traumatic Visions, and he paid the full 5 to counter the spell that would have let the opponent win the game. And he commented that he countered it with Traumatic Visions at the full cost of 5, and the opponent, who had his spell countered and thus also lost the game after a few more turns, he then said to the guy who played the Traumatic Visions, like, I can't believe... Like, you should feel bad for countering my best spell with a crappy counterspell. And, like, the guy basically said back to him, like, I still countered your spell. I may have paid 5. Like, I paid 5 mana to counter it, but I countered your spell, and because I countered that spell, I won the game. So, why should I feel bad for paying more for a crappier counterspell that still countered your best spell and allowed me to win the game, and thus I'm the better player? So, like, and that's just more proof positive towards what I'm talking about. That guy playing the 5 mana Traumatic Visions to counter the spell that would have won the opponent the game, he comes out as the better player. He is the better player because the guy is playing a more powerful, more expensive, probably a more pricey card that would have won him the game. But that card lost to a shitty 5 mana counterspell. Because the guy who played the counterspell is the better player. and he knows how to play the game, and he knew that, hey, this may cost me 5 mana, but it's still a counterspell. It's still going to, beat the thing that I need to have beaten, and it's still going to win me the game. It doesn't need to be 2 mana. It just needs to counter something. Right? That's what I'm talking about. Like, it's literally, it gets to a point of where it's like, it's not about what is the best card. It's about, are you a skilled enough player to take something that would otherwise be considered not very good and make it good? Because you can. Like, you can do it. Like, you just have to put in the effort, and you have to be the better player. Okay, let me catch up again, because I am super behind. Because I do that. Let me add some white here while I'm thinking about it. And then I will catch up on the comments. Okay. So, Richard's in the house. All hail Slivercool. All hail Slivercool! Maybe I shouldn't make that sign. Maybe I should do this. Pound it. All hail Slivercool! There we go. That's probably the better way to do it. I shall sacrifice a virgin magic player to your probing. Yes, of course. You guys are ridiculous. Oh, man. I just got the 4 new commander decks today. Very good. Oh, yeah. Really? I actually don't... I have not looked at the new commander decks at all. I have no idea. Like I said, like, I'm not really into buying that stuff anymore. Like, no problem. Like I'm not saying nobody should buy them. It's just not my thing anymore. So I haven't really looked at them. I don't know what's in them. So... But hopefully they're pretty good. I hope they're pretty good. I would assume they're pretty good. So yeah, good job, Richard. Like, I would definitely love to find out what they are. Is there any one that... oh, that's right. That's the one, like, where it's, like, the madness and flashback and stuff like that, right? Hey, Richard, which one of the new commander decks is your favorite? Tell me about it. Like, have you played with any of them yet, or have you not had the chance yet? Because it sounds like you just got them today, so I assume... If you just got them today, I'm going to assume you probably haven't played with them. But which one is the one that you think looks the best? Tell me. Tell me, tell me, tell me! They look pretty fun to me. I'm thinking of building a wall pillow fort deck or a beefy Alta Polani egg tribal deck. Huh, that could be interesting. I am just trying to get a color that I want. I think this stream's going to go on a little bit longer. I know that I've been trying to do an hour and 30 minutes, but I really want to finish this card, and I've been a little slow on it, so I'm going to try my best to finish it up before I finish the stream. So we'll hang out a bit longer, guys. Definitely not done with it yet. That's weird. Okay. Just dump that right in there. Okay. Alrighty, let me catch up a bit more. Mind you, I only played Magic for 2 years. I just practiced and read the rules. Oh, okay, Peacock. I've been playing, so I am 28, and I have been playing Magic since I was 11 years old. So, I have not been playing as long as Mike Hatcher, but like I said, I have been playing Magic since my early childhood. So, I love the game. And the thing is like, even though I don't like playing all aspects of the game, and I'm definitely not as into it as I used to be, I still love the game at its core. I really do. I don't think I'll ever be able to stop. I don't think I'll ever be able to completely quit Magic, ever. Like, I still, play Cube, and I've been very good about, playing it less and less, and not feeling like I'm going through withdrawal processes. Because, like, I would say that, based on how my life has been lately, I play Magic, and mind you, this is based on playing Cube, nothing else. I play Magic probably 2 to 3 times a month. Like, that's all I've got time for. That's all my friends have time for, is 2 to 3 times a month. So, yeah. But I'm okay with that. Like, it doesn't bother me. Like, look at me right here. I am painting Magic cards. Like, I still love Magic. Here I am. I'm still doing something related to Magic. I still love the game. I just don't need to be constantly playing it all the time. You know what I mean? That's not... I just don't have that itch to constantly play the game, you know? Especially considering that, you know, a lot of the time, like, I get a lot of love out of playing, out of not playing. I get a lot of love and care of Magic. Like, I love the game and I care about the game and I enjoy it. I can enjoy Magic without playing the game. And this right here, me streaming, me painting these cards, is me enjoying Magic without playing the game. I still love Magic. I just don't need to play it to enjoy Magic. Let me catch up a bit more. Michael's Magic. I just watched a lot of videos and I learned how to play from someone who came into the game in Innistrad. I've only been playing since Amonkhet. That's okay, man. Like, I don't think that, like, you know, I love the game. Like, even though there are a lot of things that I dislike about Wizards of the Coast, I still love the fact that people want to jump into the game and learn it. Like any time to jump in the game is a great time to play, like, to get into it. Like, I just happen to be a person who managed to start at a very young age, and thus I got to see a lot of the really good days of Magic, like, in the past. And I got to be a part of that, and I loved it. And my collection is also, like, you know, a reflection of that, of how long I've been in the game. But there is nothing wrong with people who are brand new to Magic, like, you know, just learning how to play, because it's a great game. And, like, the thing that's really cool too is that, like, even if you're new to Magic, there's still time to enjoy the history of Magic. Like there are a lot of really good cards from Magic's past that are, like, still affordable. Like, I mean, there's all these people who are constantly saying, like, oh, like, you know, I never played Magic when, you know, in the Golden Age, and therefore everything is out of my reach. And it's like, that's not true. Like, there are like, I mean, you're not going to be playing with, like, the most broken cards in Magic's history, but there's, like, so many really good cards that are very cheap from Magic's past that you can still enjoy. Like, I was just talking about how, like, I'm currently foiling out my cube. I picked a bunch of cards that I'm in the process of foiling. And, like, so mind you, a lot of the cards I have are older cards. And, like, from years and years ago. And, like, I looked at a bunch of them, like, lots of commons, uncommons, and even rares. I looked them up, and there's a whole bunch of them that are less than $5 to foil out. Like, less than $5 per foil. Like, and a majority of them are, like, $1 or $2. And they're all from the past, and they're all great cards. And like I said, like, they're not the most broken cards in the game. Like, if you can accept the fact that you're not going to be playing with the absolute most broken cards in the game, then you can still buy great cards from Magic's history that are fun and powerful and, like, don't cost very much. Let me give you a great example. I recently bought, like, this was a month or two ago, I bought 4 copies of a fantastic card. A fantastic card that is a uncommon from the Invasion set called Plague Spitter. Each one, I bought 4 copies of Plague Spitter. Buying all 4 copies of Plague Spitter cost me $4. Like, and the card is great. You know what I tell people when I'm talking about Plague Spitter? It's the Goblin Chain Whirler before Goblin Chain Whirler existed. Like, not even joke. It's so strong. Like, go look up Plague Spitter. And, like, it's such a strong, it's so powerful. It's such an incredibly powerful card. And I have a copy of it in my Power Cube. And, like, it's less than $1. Like, there are so many great, powerful cards in Magic's past that are nice and cheap. And you don't need to, like, have been playing your entire life to still get your hands on them and enjoy them for what they are. Like, you really don't. So, you know, I encourage lots of new people to come in, and enjoy the game for what it is and play it as it is. And even I even encourage them to go back and buy singles from the past and like get cool cards that are still really strong cards even today. Like I don't know, like I said, it's the bias based on power creep and things like that. Mm. It's like when you see cards like Vengevine and Phyrexian Obliterator and I don't know, the one-shot robot. For any of you guys who know what the one-shot robot is. Um, when you see stuff like that, it seems like, oh, like, the one-shot robot is like $40, or like Phyrexian Obliterator is like $30, and it's like, yeah, but that's because you're looking at broken cards. Like, you're looking at powerful, broken cards, and like, there's more to the game than just powerful, broken cards. Like, there's so many really great format-defining cards that like are still amazing to this very day, and like you still have the opportunity to enjoy it. Like for example, I bought Masticore. Like like it's still a great card. Like it's power creep has made it look not that great anymore, but it's still really powerful. It still does amazing things. Like you still have the ability to enjoy older cards. And, like, I think that, there's still a chance to do that kind of stuff. That's all I'm saying. Slivercool would like you to paint her likeness for you are the only one who could do her justice. Okay! I will, you know what? I will figure something out, Richard. I will definitely look into trying to paint. I actually have concepted it a few times. Like, I haven't actually drawn anything out. I have some ideas. Like, one of my ideas was to maybe find, like one of the ideas I had was to get my hands on a Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn, and paint it up to look like to have, like, a sliver appearance. So, like, it would still be an Emrakul, but it would have, like, the appearance of a sliver, and I thought that would be really funny. And I mean, the other option is just simply that I could do a full altar of something. I don't know what. But I could just, like, take a random card, like a random, like, I don't know, like maybe an Eldrazi card or something, and then completely alter it, and then just paint it to look like some crazy sliver monstrosity of some sort, I have thought about it quite a bit. Like, even without you prompting me, Richard, there have been multiple times where I've actually really thought about it. A lot of the time when I've thought about it, though, is when we're in Mike Hatcher's streams. Like, generally, like, somebody will bring up Slivercool, and I'll be like, I wonder how, like, if I were to paint that, I wonder how I would do it. It's just become this amazingly awesome, like, ongoing, like, joke in our community. And I really do want to bring it to life. I think that would be a lot of fun. Give me just a second. Let's see here. The Morph deck looks like the most fun, or the Flashback, because Murica. Yeah, I feel that. I think Morph is really cool. It's very hard to implement it right, but it can be really cool. I have a few Morph cards in my cube, but they're varied. They're very varied. I'm actually really thirsty. I'm going to grab some water real quick. Got a bottle right here. Okay. So let's see here. It's all good. It also has the Pillow Fort wall. I joined the game during the age of Pringles. Yeah, the curling, of course. I'm going to build me a janky Genju of the Realm deck because why not? That sounds fun, and also jank is the best. Okay! That's all good, Michael's Magic. Like, jank can be fun. Like, I mean, like I said, like, go into Magic's history, because, I mean, I feel like that, there's a lot of, like, stuff where it's, like, people are like, oh, like, I would never play this because it's so janky. And it's like, but jank can be fun, like, you know? Like, there are ways to really have a blast with that, and it should be, it should definitely be enjoyed more. Like, I mean, I feel like there's a difference between janky and bad cards, too. Because, like for example, like, there's a difference between jank and draft chaff. You know, like, draft chaff is always bad. Jank can be bad, but you can, like, make it work. So, you know, like, it can be enjoyed. Like, you just gotta have your head in the right place with it. She's the Power 5 slivers absorbed by Emrakul. What are the Power 5 slivers? Like, what would that be? Are there like 5? Like, I mean, I feel like that one of the ones you would probably say is Crystalline Sliver. Is Crystalline Sliver like one of the most powerful slivers? Because most people think it is. And I mean, I guess it kind of is. However, I will say that, hold on, I'm having trouble with a color. Okay, there we go. I don't know. I forgot what I was saying. I know we were talking about slivers again. Kind of adding in this black and trying to see how it looks. Hey Wrath of Wood, good to see you, man. Thank you for joining in. Glad to have you here. I'm just painting this Death's Head Buzzard. Let me see if I can get it to focus again. Come on. Trying to get this to, I'll just keep working on it and I'll bring it in closer soon. Yeah, good to see you, Wrath of Wood. I'm just working on this Death's Head Buzzard, and we're kind of talking about Commander and, like, Magic in general. Just all sorts of stuff, you know? Let's see here. God, it's starting to get so hot in my room. I don't know what happened. I had, like, a drastic temperature change in here, and I'm, like, wearing, like, a tank top, and I'm just, like, sweating like crazy. Just, it got, like, way... And my windows are open. I don't know. It's weird. Very hot in here. Genju with a Shambling Vent makes it unblock. A Shambling Vent? I don't know Shambling Vent. I don't know what that is. Can't say that I know what that card is. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Just a lot of black. So much black. I'm kind of also trying to, like, fade out the black a little bit in certain areas. Because there's some, like, some blue fade in some of the spots over here. Okay. The first sliver is Sliver Overlord, Sliver Hive Lord, Sliver Legion, and the Sliver Queen. Okay. Okay, man. Oh, man. Do you have a Sliver Queen, Richard Lash? Just curious. Do you have, like, do you actually own, like, all of the, like the legendary slivers? Do you actually own all of them? I'm curious. I mean, I feel like, you probably own all of them, right? Like, you probably own all the sliver, you know, legendary slivers, I feel like. Yeah, I don't know. I could be wrong, but you just seem like the kind of person who would probably own, like, all of them. Alright, just kind of putting in this black here. Trying to get it to fade just right. It's just having trouble focusing here. Let's see. You have about 3 or 4 of each kind. Very nice. That's pretty extreme. That's so funny. I own 1 Sliver Overlord and 1 Sliver Queen. And I've had both of them for a very long time. I've had them pretty much since my childhood. So they're pretty special to me. They have a lot of history to them. Like both the Sliver Overlord and the Sliver Queen have some light play damage to them. But I'm okay with that because they're. I wasn't even planning to sell them or anything. Like I couldn't. They're way too important to me. This black is kind of giving me a bad time here. It's very, I don't know what the word is. It's kind of gloppy. It's not like as... I guess I could probably add some water to it, and that might help. But I think I'm going to try and clean this up a little bit, because it's a bit messy. Oh, that was weird. I was hearing some like weird noises, and I was trying to figure out where it was coming from, because I thought it was coming from... I have a speaker and some music playing in the background. I'm not sure if you guys can hear it, but I was hearing some weird noises, and I was trying to figure out where they were coming from. And I was like, wait, is that my music? Because this music isn't supposed to have people talking in it. Damn, Richard Lash, $150? Wow. So, I love being the great show-off about this. You want to know how much I paid for my Sliver Queen? $20. I bought it when I was about probably 12 or 13, and I bought it for $20. And I always remember buying it for $20, and people thought I was dumb. Like, they were, like, telling me that I was, like, stupid for buying any Magic card at all for $20. And I was like, no, like, and like, the thing was that when I bought it for playing. It wasn't for collecting purposes. It was specifically so I could play with it. And, but yeah, people made fun of me for buying a Magic card for $20. I bought a Sliver Queen for $20 when I was about 12 years old. And I feel awesome about it now, because it's like a $200 card. Oh, so funny. But yeah, I don't think I've ever spent... I think the most expensive card I've bought is... I'm trying to think. I generally don't buy Magic cards more than $20. I really can't think of a Magic card in particular that I bought that was more expensive than $20. I'm thinking really hard about it, and I just can't imagine it. I feel like there must be some somewhere. Like, some particular Magic card. Like, because, I mean, I have, like, splurged on Magic cards before, and I'm just, like, trying to imagine. Like, I was like, I'm pretty sure there's probably, like, at least 1 or 2 Magic cards that I bought for more than $20. But most of the really expensive, like, cards that I've bought are, like for example, I have a Dakin Blackblade, and I bought Dakin Blackblade for, like, $15, and that was, like, back in 2009, I think 2000, it was either 2009 or 2010 that I bought my Dakin Blackblade. And I bought it for like $15, and I think it's really expensive now. I'm not sure how much it's worth anymore, but yeah. And I own a Palladium Moors, and Palladium Moors I bought for $10 back around the same time that I bought Dakin Blackblade. I was buying, like, back in 2009 and 2010, I was buying a bunch of cards from Legends because I was really obsessed with the lore of Legends starting back in around 2009 and 2010. I've always really kind of liked the Legends cards ever since I was a small kid, because it was actually Legends cards that made me realize that I loved Magic. I'd never played when Legends was, you know, a set. Like, when it was, like, when Legends was brand new and out, I didn't play Magic. But it was Legends cards that got me into Magic, because it was back when I was about, like I said, 11. That's about when I started really getting into Magic the Gathering. And I had a friend who was very into Magic. and he taught me how to play. And I was kind of like iffy on it. Like I wasn't really into it, and like I only enjoyed Magic because my friend liked Magic at that time. And so I was like, oh well, I just want to like hang out with my best friend, and he really likes this game, so I'm going to like play it with him, even though I'm not a very big fan of it. And so what happened was, he was like, oh well, today I wanted to go to the card shop, and I was going to take you with me. I was like, cool, let's go to the card shop. And here's the thing too. This friend of mine was older than I was. He was when I was about 11 or 12. He was about 16. He was about 15 or 16. So he was a few years older than I was. And he took me to the very first card store that I've ever been in. And I've been in comic book shops before, but I'd never been in like a comic book card store before. So he took me to the very first comic book card store that I ever went to. And he was kind of like doing his own thing, looking into Magic cards, trying to figure out what he wanted. And he kind of like was doing his own thing, looking at certain cards that he wanted. And I was just kind of like there on my own, like looking at things and trying to figure out like what was going on. And they had a glass display case, and I was looking through the glass display case to kind of like find some interesting cards, I guess. And he on the top of the glass display case there was a layout of Legends cards, just a whole bunch of them, and they were just out on display. And I was just looking over all of them, and I thought they were just amazing. Like I was like, oh my god, these are like the coolest cards I've ever seen. Like, these are way cooler than, like, the stuff that, like, my friend is trying to get me to play with. And, I was just like, this is so cool. Like, I want to get into this. I want to, like, own cards like these. And the one that really, really grabbed my attention this was the first time I ever saw a Palladium Mors. And I thought that Palladium Mors, like, as a kid, like, Legends Palladium Mors, I thought it was, like, the coolest card I'd ever seen in my entire life. Like, I just was like, this card is amazing. I have to have this card. Like, and I mean, it took me a long time. Like I said, I didn't start collecting Legends cards until about 2009, 2010. And that's when I got my hands on Dak and Blackblade and Palladium Mors. And, like, I love Palladium Mors. That's, like, my favorite. That's, like, my absolute, like, favorite, like, Legends card of all time. And, like, I love the lore behind her and, like, what she represents. Like, she's the Queen of the Dragons, man. Like, she's awesome. You know what I mean? Like, I always thought it was such a cool card, and I was very into it. And that's basically, like, back at that time when I was a little kid, like, that's what really got me into Magic the Gathering. Like, that's what got me hooked, was going into that card shop and seeing all those Legends cards. And like I said, like, I never really played in Legends or anything like that. Like, Legends was, like, I think 1994. I was probably, like, 3 years old in 1994. So there was no way I was into Magic at that time, but it would have been cool if I was a 3-year-old playing Magic, like, you know? Oh, so silly. But like I said, I've adored the game since I was about 11 years old, and I've played it for a very long time, and I've gone through a lot of stages with the game, and like, it used to be that I only played the game based on how much money I had available to me at any one particular time. So, let me see if I can catch up a little bit more. Legion is just getting... Is Sliver Legion getting more expensive? Is that what's happening? Or are you talking about the Judge promo Legion? Because that also seems pretty... Like, that would make sense if it's getting very, very expensive, because I would expect that to get very expensive. Let's see here. Kind of trying to figure out how I want to go about the rest of this. I'm kind of trying to, like, shade certain areas, and I don't really know how I want to shade them. Kind of want to like add some like grass and stuff like down here, just to kind of give it a little more character. My black is very weird. There we go. I'm sorry I keep pulling it out of frame, guys. It's I get so focused on what I'm doing with painting that I lose track of like how it looks to you guys, and I need to focus a little more on that, you know? Yeah, the Judge promo. That makes sense. My best MTG purchase was two Badlands for... Wow! Two Badlands for $60 a piece? Well, I mean, 60... Yeah, $60 a piece. That's not... I mean, by, like... It depends on what year you bought them. So, like, for example, like, if you said you paid, like, $60 to get those, like, about 10 years ago, that would be, I would say about a decade ago, that would be, people would make fun of you. But if, like, you bought those for $60 a piece at that time, and then tell people now that you bought them for $60 a piece, people would be like, what? That's amazing! And it's like, yeah, but people made fun of me when I first, like, that's like I said, like, when I bought Sliver Queen, like, I was like 12 years old when I bought my Sliver Queen, and I bought it for $20, people made fun of me. People made fun of me that I was buying a Magic card for $20. Like, you know? And then I was like, you know, and then it's like, well, Black Lotus was like $100 at that time, you know? Like, Black Lotus was probably like $100 to like $200 when I bought my Sliver Queen for $20. So, and then based on like the value of Magic cards plus the rate of inflation, like those prices seem amazing in today's standard. But, like, if you went back to the time where I was, like, 11 or 12 years old, and you bought a Black Lotus for, like, $200, people would make fun of you. People would be like, you're an idiot. Like, you know, that what year was that? Like, that was probably 2001. So, like, if you were in the year 2001, and you buy a Black Lotus for $200, people will treat you like an idiot. They're like, you're an idiot. You bought a piece of cardboard, a cardboard square, for $200? You're an idiot. But, like, now, you know, we have, like, $60,000 pieces of cardboard. So, you know, it's all about, you know, it's... Hindsight is 20/20, right? Oh, man. Too funny. But I mean, like I said, like, I never regretted buying that, even though people did make fun of me for buying the Sliver Queen for $20 when I was that age, I never felt bad about it. And the thing is like, I was like a 12-year-old, so like, my mind wasn't set on the idea of, I'm buying this Sliver Queen, you know, in 2002 or whatever, this is going to be worth $200 when I'm 28 years old. Like, that was never, ever a thought process in my brain. You know what the thought process was behind being a 12-year-old buying a Sliver Queen for $20? Oh my god, this will be so cool in my Sliver deck. I'm going to play the shit out of this thing. Sleeves? I ain't got time for sleeves. I'm just going to play with my slivers and my Sliver Queen on this, you know, on the asphalt. Like... That was my 12-year-old thought process at that time. Like, $20 Sliver Queen, play it on the schoolyard on the asphalt. Like, that was the jam back then. This is so funny to me. And I mean, it's, like, my Sliver Queen doesn't have very much damage to it or anything, but it does have light play damage, which is fine, I don't care. But it's just, I just find it so funny, like, how Magic is nowadays with all that stuff. It's just like, it was a different time, you know? Like, it's... We have like, long time past the golden age of Magic, where, Like, I would actually say that, like, people, like, the days of where people would make fun of you for buying, like, a Magic card for $20, that was a good time. That was a good, like, year. Like, that was a good, like, time for Magic. Because that was back in a day, that was back in a time where people could make fun of you for doing that because it was a game. Like, it wasn't an investment, it was a game. And if you were paying $20 for a single piece of a game, not even a whole game, a single piece of a game, people had the right to make fun of you because that is stupid. And you know what? I was okay with it because I was a 12-year-old. Like, let me tell you, if I was 28, if I was 28 years old like I am right now, back in 2009 or 2000 and, no, not 2009. Back in 2001 or 2002, when I bought that Sliver Queen, if I was a 28-year-old in that timeline, I probably wouldn't have bought that Sliver Queen. I wouldn't. You know why? Because I wouldn't be a stupid 12-year-old kid buying a piece of cardboard for $20. You see? Like, and that's based on the idea that I don't have, like, future knowledge, obviously. Like, if I was, like, you know, a 28-year-old adult in the year 2001 or 2002, and I saw a Sliver Queen for $20, I would probably say, no, that's a waste of money. Don't do it. I'm not going to do that. That's stupid. Who would buy a piece of cardboard for $20? Obviously a stupid kid would. Right? So, I don't know. Just different times. Let's see. I'm going to catch up a bit more. And you guys need to see a card. I keep pulling it away. I'm so sorry, guys. I keep doing that. I'm so sorry I keep doing that. Oh, jeez. Okay, let me take a look here. Budget is the best way to brew and build because you use suboptimal cards or you build some new staple in the format you are playing in. Yeah, I could see that. Budget is a good way to go about it because when you're doing budget, it makes it properly feel like a game. Like, you know, you're playing on a budget, and most games are played on a budget. Like, you know, like, obviously, if you're playing, like, board games, like, most board games are going to be, by the way, I'm going to mix a new color real quick, just to kind of, do something here. Let me zoom this out a bit. So, most board games are built on budgets. Like, I mean, you know, like, you go to a game store, and you pay $20 or $30 for, like, a board game. And and generally when you pay 20 or 30 bucks for a board game, you get everything you need. Magic is not like that, obviously. Like, so, you know, it's like when you, like, my point of bringing this up was I was trying to say that building on a budget feels more like you're playing a proper board game than, like, playing, like, Magic based on the idea that you know, you're trying to build your deck with all the best pieces and stuff like that. So, like, budget Magic is, like, in my opinion, the baseline of Magic as a proper board game, because you're playing with the amount of pieces that are needed to play a board game based on a price that is reasonable for playing a board game. So, I mean, I feel like that's just generally more appropriate. And I give you kudos for being comfortable with being able to... So, basically what I did... I'm going to just lighten it up. You might have noticed I mixed this weird kind of dark red. I basically made like a burgundy color, black and red. And the reason why is because if you look at the Death's Head Buzzard, there's kind of this interesting, like, oily reddish color going on in the wings and the body. So I'm basically going to use this burgundy color to kind of add an almost reddish tinge to some of the black areas on the buzzard. So that's why I did that. Yeah, so let me get back into this painting and try to work on it a bit more. I noticed we're coming up on 2 hours and 30 minutes, so I gotta finish this up. A lot of talking. I definitely can admit that I've been doing a lot of talking today, and that's probably why we're going on for so long. I hope you guys don't mind. Ooh, that looks pretty good. I can definitely see it better in the camera, which is really nice. There. I'm just kind of adding in this reddish color, which is allowing it to blend better with the rest of the painting. I'm gonna add some spots there. There we go. And I'm going to wet the brush real quick. And like I said, like what we were talking about earlier about player skill, when you're playing on a budget, it allows you to develop your skills as a player better because you're playing with things that require more thinking because you're not playing with crazy powerful cards that do all the work for you. So I think playing on a budget is a really good way in general to play Magic. So good on you. Good on you, Michael's Magic. Good on you. They're just a tad bit... Yeah, the Sliver Lords, like... Unless you're, like, unless, you're, able to be comfortable with dropping a large load of cash on Magic, which is not, like, for people who can do that, like, good for you, man. Like, seriously. Like, because the thing is, like, I don't want anybody to feel ashamed for being basically a Magic whale. And the reason why is because, like, to encourage it even more, these cards are just going to get more expensive. So, like, even if you buy them right now, like, especially, like, Sliver Queen and stuff like that, like, even if you buy them right now at, like, $200, in, like, 5 years, they're going to be, like, $400. You know? Like, they're just going to keep going up in price. Like, there are some cards where that's not true, obviously, like, but, cards like the Sliver Lords, they're just, even if you, like, they're just going to keep going up in price. So there's, like, no reason to, be upset at people who have the ability to spend that kind of money on Magic. Like, I think that's fine. So, like, like, definitely get them even now if you can. Even if they seem like they're super expensive now, if you have the ability to, like, put that money into those cards, go for it. Like, seriously. But at the same time, like, don't feel bad if you can't. Like, because it's just, like I said, like, I was actually mentioning how, like, if I was my age now in the year 2001 or 2002, I would have never bought that Sliver Queen. Because it's unreasonable. Like, that's just how it was at that time. And I mean, like I said, it took me being a young kid to even be okay with the idea of buying a Sliver Queen for $20. Like, because I mean, like I said, any adult would look at that and think it's stupid. So, like, even now, it's silly to think that it's not unreasonable to buy Magic cards at obscene prices. By the way, I gotta say, I'm using this burgundy color on this black. It looks great. Like, you can kind of see that little line right there. Fantastic. It looks awesome. And I also did it down here on the lower part, and that looks awesome as well. It's kind of hard to see it, but it's definitely there. You can just barely see it, and it's definitely adding the right coloration that I wanted to the black color. So I'm just going to keep working with it. And I think that I'll probably be done with this pretty soon. I feel like I'm starting to get closer to the end of it. And I really like how it came out. It definitely took a lot of time to work on it, just simply because it's a combination of I'm trying to pay attention to the details a lot, and also I'm talking a lot. So I want to say I'm probably talking a little bit more than I normally do, which means that it's, certain things are taking probably a little bit more time than normal. So I'm just a chatty kind of guy. That's just the kind of person I am. So hope you guys don't mind. And I love talking with you guys. Like, you guys are a lot of fun to chat with and hang out with and have a good time. So I'm really happy you guys all came in here to hang out with me. It's awesome. And also the camera is really helping me out with seeing certain spots on certain things, which is very nice. I like this high quality camera. It's not only making it nicer for you guys to see what's going on, it's also making it easier on my eyes to see what's going on as well. So I definitely like that. I'm going to add some more down here, just to kind of round this out a little bit. There we go. Let me kind of get this into a nicer position. Let's see. Buying an expensive card is like buying a piece of art, like a painting. Yes, Wrath of Wood. Very true. Very true. I definitely know what you mean. It's actually funny because I was talking to a coworker the other day about buying Magic cards, and I was trying to explain to them how sometimes I buy cards because of the art. So, like, for example, I bought a From the Vault Angels Sarah Angel, which is actually very cheap, but it has the most spectacular Rebecca Guay art I've ever seen. It's so beautiful. And I literally bought that card for that art. That was the only reason I bought it. I bought it for the art. And I did put it in the cube, too, so you can play with it. Because, in the way, in my cube, Sarah Angel is relevant. It's a very good, solid card for the cube. And that's the thing, is, like, that's another thing that's actually really interesting. After all these years of power creep and such, Sarah Angel's still a relevant card. Like, I feel like there's proof in that with the fact that they reprinted it in, I think they reprinted it in Dominaria. And even in Dominaria, it's still a powerful, relevant card. It's still very useful. And, like, I mean, it's not the crazy powerhouse that it was back in the old days because of power creep. But it's still an extremely relevant card that gets the job done. Sarah Angel will still kill you. It'll kill you. It doesn't care. It's a Sarah Angel. It's designed to kill you. And, so the thing is that, my cube, like, the Sarah Angel, like, let me just put it this way. One of the most powerful flyers, like, two of the most powerful flyers in blue in my cube are Ma Marijin and Sarah Sphinx, which Sarah Sphinx is just basically a blue-shifted Sarah Angel. Those cards are obscenely powerful in the blue part of my cube. And Sarah Angel, just as Sarah Sphinx and Ma Marijin in blue, is still a powerhouse in white. Like, I mean, it has to compete with some other really powerful white cards, but it still gets the job done. It's still relevant, and it still hurts when it swings at you for 4 and can block the next turn. It's still a great card. Michael's Magic, I don't think that would be very fun. Monocolored cube. Unless you mean, like no gold cards, like it would just be, like, mono white, mono blue, mono black, mono green, mono red, and no gold, like no gold cards. That's probably still really fun. Like, that's fine. But I like the gold cards. In fact, actually, but if you mean like a blue only cube, I don't think, or like a black only cube, I don't think that would be very fun. I really don't. I mean, you could try it and, like, let me know if it's good or not. But I don't think that's the kind of thing that I would like. And part of the reason for that, too, is that, you know what's really funny is I've had some people come to me and ask me, like, what's my favorite color in Magic? And I had to really think about it, only to realize that I don't actually have a favorite color in Magic. I actually like all the colors. And like I said, like, I would probably say, like, when I was a kid, like, when I was younger, like a teenager, I would have probably told you that my favorite colors were blue and black. But I really don't feel that way anymore. Like, I mean, I love all the colors, and I think that they are all relevant, and they all serve their own varying purposes. So I would never want to try to act like as if like one color is better than another, or if like, you know, I think that all the colors kind of serve their own purposes, and they all have their own varying capabilities and strategies and things that need to be properly respected. Um, no gold or all multicolored cards, including hybrid mana. That would be weird. Well, okay, so see, that makes a lot more sense, and I bet you it's totally doable. So let me give you some interesting perspective based on my cube and some things that I had to learn. Like my power cube, I've had to take apart hundreds of times and rebuild it, and I had to learn a lot of different things. I'm gonna add some black to my palette because I don't have any black and I need it. So give me just a second. I'll continue that thought in a minute. Okay, got some black on there. I don't need very much, just a little bit. So to give you some interesting perspective, okay? So first of all, let me tell you some interesting things about how my cube works and things like that. So I have gold cards in my cube. And the thing is about the gold cards is they actually have a very specific importance in my power cube. And it actually took me some time to learn this. Me and my best friends had to play a bunch of games to learn this. The gold cards allow when you're building your deck in the cube, the gold cards give you guidelines. They give you perspective and guidelines to what direction you want to build your cube deck in. So like, in other words, like you would look at like all your gold cards and you would see like where the majority of your gold cards are. So like I would look at all my gold cards that I drafted and I would say, okay, my gold cards are focused on red, green, and white. So that means that in order to get the full amount of my gold cards, which are pretty powerful, I want to play red, green, and white. So the gold cards help push you in a direction towards deck building. So like, and to give you more perspective on that, when you build a cube where all the cards are really strong, like I told you, like my cube is built so that every single card is great. And the only thing that allows you to discern what cards are going to be relevant to you are your abilities as a player, like your personal player skills. So the thing is that when every card in every color is good, and you're drafting like all the colors, obviously, like you have like all the colors that you drafted in, and you're trying to figure out where you want to play. If all your cards in blue are good, and if all of your cards in every color are fantastic, like how my cube is, it's really hard to figure out what colors you want to play. Like there's obviously going to be some cards that are like, oh, this card is so amazing, I have to play this color. That does happen. But the thing is that 9 times out of 10, when me and my friends are playing cube, we use the gold cards to push us in a particular direction. Oh, I have really great blue, black, and green cards, like in gold, so I'm going to play blue, black, and green. Or I have really good cards in red, green, and blue, so I'm going to play red, green, and blue in this draft. So it pushes you in a particular direction. So that's something that the gold cards offer that is really kind of interesting when you're thinking about the idea of not running gold cards. Because when you do monocolored, it kind of makes it harder for you to pick the color that you want. However, I will say this. There is another thing about my cube that's really interesting. My cube, and it's... By the way, thank you, Michael's Magic. I'm glad you like how it looks. I'm working pretty hard on it, and I'm almost to where I want it to be. I'm just kind of adding some grassy details. In other words, that means that I'm very close to being done with this piece, because I'm just kind of adding in like some grass and foliage and things like that. The other thing that I was going to say that's really interesting about my cube that kind of will tell you a little bit more about playing gold cards versus monocolored cube is there are no cards in, like, and this is something I had to learn because it wasn't like this in the beginning. There are, in my current iteration of my cube, yes, that is very true, Wrath of Void. The gold cards are what help you build around and build a deck. And it's very important because it really gives you that kind of perspective of, like, what you really want to build into. Because it's like you'll always get relatively around the same amount of each monocolored color when you're drafting, but generally the gold cards are skewed in certain particular directions. So, like, you're going to get always the same amount of gold cards as you would get the same amount of monocolored cards, but the colors of the gold cards can be greatly skewed. So, like, I can draft, like, 20 gold cards, but, like, 10 of those, like, well, maybe not 10, but, like, 5 or 6 of those gold cards are red and white. So that would, and the other cards are, like, different colors. So, like, that would basically say, oh, the majority of my gold cards are red and white, so I think I want to go towards red and white, you know? And it just kind of helps you build more efficiently. But anyways, back to what I was saying is that the thing about my cube is that there are no cards, there are no monocolored cards that have triple color costs. So, like, for example, like, Mamari Jin is a 6-mana creature that is only a double blue. Or, like, we were talking about Lurking Predators is a mono green card, but it's only double green. So, like, there are no monocolored cards in my cube that are triple green or triple white or triple blue or whatever. So, hey, Bo, I'm glad you're here, man. Yeah, I'm kind of finishing this up, and I keep getting into rants about different things in Magic, which is distracting me from painting, but I'm basically almost done. So you're pretty much here at the end of it, and I'm kind of just adding some interesting little details here and there. Just like little bits and pieces. I added those 2 little black streaks right there to kind of look like they're grass blades popping out of the water. But yeah, so, like, and here's the thing of why that is the way that it is. I was just saying that in my cube there are no triple color cost cards. So, when you're playing the cube, and generally when you play it, you're always going to go, like, double color, triple color. Quad color is, like, always pushing it. Nobody goes 5 color. Like, if you go 5 color, you better have, like, an amazing gimmick or something. Like, something... There are no 5-colored, multicolored cards. And there's... In the entire cube, there's only 1 triple-colored card. So, all the other cards are double-colored. But the thing is that the reason why there are no like triple colored, like no triple blues, no triple greens, no triple whites is because nobody would play them. They would sit in your hand, or they would like for example, like when you would want to play it, you would have like 3, you would be playing like a 3-colored deck, and you would have like 2 green, 2 white, and 1 red. But you don't have 3 green to play that, like, you know, Elder Scale Worm or something like that, you know? So, like, all the triple colored cards, like the triple greens and triple blues, they would be dead cards, and they would feel bad because you'd never be able to play them because they're so mana intensive. They would literally be dead cards. And I actually had one of the major, in the early days of my cube, when I was still kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do with it, I used to have a whole bunch of triple colored cards in the cube, and I actually removed all of them. All of the triple colored cards out. All of them gone. And when I did that, the cube got so much better. So much better. Everything was playable. And that's the thing is that, like, the reason why I brought it up is because you mentioned like how you'd want to play like a monocolored cube where there's no gold cards. So not having the gold cards, first of all, means that you might have some issues with picking which direction you want to go with your draft. And the other thing too is that, but there's a reverse side to it, which is if you do a monocolored cube, it might be easier. Like, I'm not totally sure, but it might be easier to get away with having triple colored cost cards. So, like, it would help people get a better perspective and be more likely to be interested in playing more mana intensive drafts. Okay, Michael's Magic. Well, I really enjoyed having you in here. I'm glad we got to talk about Cube a bunch, and maybe some of the stuff we talked about will encourage you to build your own cubes. So you work on it, dude. Experiment. If you do a monocolored cube, let me know how it works out. I'm definitely curious to hear about it. So I'll see you later, man. Thank you for coming in and hanging out. Okay. So I'm actually probably going to wrap it up pretty soon here. I'm just adding in like a few different pieces. Like it's just like the blacks and some of the blades of grass. There. Let me kind of zoom it out just a little bit. Okay. So I think I'm just about satisfied with this. My Death's Head Buzzard. And in just a second, as soon as I get it to where I want it to be, I'm going to zoom it in so you guys can see it much more clearly. Okay, hold on a sec. Okay, hold on. Hold on. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. Sorry, I'm not trying to make you sick. Okay, let me see if I can get it to focus. Focus. There we go. There we go. Okay, I'm going to move it ever so slightly, just up a little bit, so we can get a full picture. There it is, boys. Death's Head Buzzard in all of its glory. Oh, blah, 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 blah. That took me 2 hours, 47 minutes. Oh, man, and I've been talking about how I've been trying to shorten these streams, and here I am, and I did such a long stream today. Well, I had a great time, guys. Oh, man. Thanks, Wrath of Wood. I'm glad you like it, man. I really enjoyed working on this piece. I love Death's Head Buzzard. I remember in the first stream that I did for Death's Head Buzzard, I talked about a lot of the history I have with the card, because I've had this card in my collection for a long time. So I really like this card a lot. I have some memories with it, and it was a lot of fun to paint. And it's just an overall good card. Like, I just like it. Like, I'm really glad I got to work on it. Very fun. Let me just kind of read over the comments, and then we'll wrap it up. Does that sound good? Let's see here. This is the add a happy piece of grass part of the painting. Yes, Wrath of Wood. Bo saying hi to everybody. Mono blue deck should run the Djinn. That's power is equal to the number of islands you control. Oh, yeah, I've seen that guy. That guy's from Dominaria. Is that like, Oh, wait, maybe not. Maybe that's a different card. I'm not sure. That would be interesting. I'm just commenting on Michael's Magic, even though he left. Not all, but a lot of them could use it as a win con. I could see that. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like I've caught up on the comments. I'm really glad you guys all got to come out and hang out with me. You know, I think I'm just going to wrap it up here, unless you guys want to mention anything before I go. But I had a great time. I will say that probably the next time we do a stream, I will be working on probably one of my first ever commissions on a live stream. So I'm very excited to jump into it. It's for Man Cave MTG, and he already paid me a portion to work on this Sulphur Springs. So the next time we do a stream, we'll probably be working on the Sulphur Springs, and I'm very excited to work on it. It's a Phil Foglio piece, and I love Phil Foglio. He's a fantastic artist, and so I'm pretty excited about that. So I think I'm just gonna wrap it up here, guys. So thank you all so much for coming out. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. If you had a good time, ring that notification bell so you guys can be notified when my streams are happening. Please feel free to, if you have the ability to do so, please feel free to donate money to my PayPal account. The PayPal account is down in the description below. If you're interested in having me do a commission piece for you, please contact me on the Discord. My Discord is the same name as my channel, and you can find it publicly. So go ahead and join it if you feel free to do so. What else? Feel free to check out my DeviantArt page. I post all my art. I've been a little behind on posting my art on my DeviantArt page, but it's because I've been so busy. So I'll try and update that fairly soon. Another addition to the channel is I now have a P.O. box, so if people want to send me fan mail, magic cards, or if I'm doing a commission piece, you can send me a card that you want painted by commission through the mail, and I will receive it in my P.O. box, and I will be more than happy to paint it for you on stream, and we can negotiate prices and whatever. So, once again, thank you guys so much for coming out. As I like to say, you know, if you follow your dreams, then you'll get to right exactly where you need to be. So follow your dreams, okay, guys? Take it easy, okay? Alright, Bo Falcon, I'm glad you were able to make it. I'm sorry you only got to see it at the end, but I love having you in here, and it's totally no worries, so I hope to see you again very soon, okay? So, peace out, guys. Thanks so much for being here. Bye.